holding on. Wonder who you are without all the games, yeah. I keep holding on. Playing games. I keep holding making mistakes. Wonder who please don't do it without all the games, yeah. I keep you playing games. I'm making mistakes. Please don't do that. Don't do that. I keep on.
Oh, they're on already.
Hi, Carolyn.
Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening, folks. Welcome to our Manhattan Community Board 9 General Board Meeting for June 2023. This is our final General Board Meeting of the fiscal year. And for those who do not know, the board goes on a summer hiatus in July and August. So while committees may choose to hold meetings in July and August, they generally do not. And the executive committee will meet again in August to prepare for the resumption of the regular season beginning in September. But I see a lot of familiar faces that I'm happy to have back in person and a lot of new faces. So I don't know if we've established quorum yet. Do me a favor, where am I getting that feedback from? If you are a current Community Board 9 member, either newly appointed or returning, and you're present in person, please raise your hand. Wow, excellent.
Nice.
I'll raise my hand too.
Nice.
Okay, so that's a good chunk of folks. So we currently have 49 members, so quorum is 25. Hello. And I'm gonna give folks a couple more minutes to come in. But I am very excited to see everyone and have everyone here. I am going to take a moment and just note who is here virtually. I see Ilana Mercado. Good evening, Ilana. Oh, there we go. Good evening, Signe. Good evening, Daria.
Good evening.
And can we just check the attendees list, Yutha, and see if anyone's in the waiting room? Oh, and Edwin. Good evening, Dr. Torres.
Good evening, all.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 folks right now virtually attending. Oh, and Carolyn. Good evening, Carolyn.
Barry.
And actually,
I heard it.
could Ilana or Signe, could you give us kind of a sound check? We have a new sound setup tonight.
Check.
Can you hear me?
Check.
Yes, we can hear both of you. Excellent. Thank you.
Yay.
Check.
The members to
Check.
accept their panelists invite.
Also, if you are hanging out in the attendees section and you are a board member, Yutha is attempting to invite you to rejoin as a panelist. So please look at your screen and accept that invitation if you see it. And I think that did get us a few more members, actually. Jane, where is Jane? Here we go.
I'm right here.
Yes, I know. I was looking for you on my paper. I knew you were on the screen. Okay, so we've got Sharon, Heather, we've got April Adams. I see Reverend Caldwell. Welcome. Pat Watler. Oh, Patricia Ramos. Patricia Ramos.
Yes, I'm sorry. Here, Patricia Ramos.
All right. Anyone else on the screen? Not that I recognize. I did get Heather. All right. Well, I am going to just take a moment then to formally establish a quorum. And I'm going to go through the roll. I have April Adams attending virtually. April, are you here?
Present.
Joyce Adewumi? Do not see Joyce. Walter Alexander is here in person. Good evening, Walter. Itli Antoine? Miss Antoine? Has not arrived yet. I don't see her in person. Jane Arundel Johnson is here virtually. We established. Miriam Aristi Ferrer, person. Chris Berry. I don't see Chris. Okay, we'll come back. Reverend Caldwell, Patricia Caldwell.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Dan Marks Cohen. Don't see him yet. Juan Colmenares. Juan, wave to folks. There we go. Carlton Davis. Is Carlton here yet? I don't see Carlton. Okay. Sharon Dela Cruz, welcome to one of our new members. Saw her on. Excellent. Miss Dunn, Merida Dunn, if you could, Merida, if you could wave so people know who you are. Remember, we have new people. Elizabeth Eastman. Is Elizabeth here in person? I don't see her. Victor Edwards. Victor, give us a wave. Victor is our first vice chair. Sean Farrow. We have Sean on. I do not see Sean. Lydia Garrison. Lydia, give us a wave. There you are. Monique Harden Cordero.
Present.
Monique is our second vice chair. Laquita Henry, give us a wave. There you are. Michael Iglesias, do we have Michael? Oh, there you are in the back. Good to see you. Dr. Jarek Johnson.
He's present.
I see him virtually.
I'm present.
Thank you for being with us. Patricia Watler Johnson. Pat, you with us? I don't see Pat yet. Thiago Keel. There you are in the back. Ted Kovalev. Do we have Ted?
Yes, here.
Good
but
evening,
having
Ted.
trouble with the Zoom.
We hear you. Tina
Good.
Lumley. Tina, there you are. Just wave. John Martin Green was here. I thought I was here. Deirdre McIntosh Brown. Don't see her. Ilana Mercado, we got virtually. Ken Miles. Let's see Ken. Dr. Clotilde Mongoya. Sorry for butchering that, but I see you in person. Reverend Georgette Morgan Thomas. Don't see her yet. Signe Mortensen. I know you're on virtually.
I'm here.
Juaniros Ovalle. We here in person or virtually? All right, come back. Solomon Prophet, who was here. I do not see Solomon yet. Carolina Ramirez. Carolina. Patricia Ramos, we got virtually. Annette Robinson. Don't see Annette. Amir, is it Sadehi? Okay, welcome to a new member. Clayton Sanford, welcome as well to a new member. Hugo Torres Fetzko. None virtually? Nope. Okay. Liz Whitetakis, give everybody a wave. There you are. Miss Francina Waring. Okay. Barry Weinberg, that's me. Shanika Wilson. Don't see Shanika yet, but I see Joyce Adewume has joined us.
Yes, I was here, but I was in general attendee and I was asking to be made panelist. Eventually I found the link. So
Great.
in here.
Barry, I've also joined. This is Pat Watler Johnson.
Great. All right. We've got good attendance tonight.
I see Edley as well. Hi, Edley.
Hi, Edley. How are you? And we have Carlton Davis, it sounds like. Oh, there you are. Okay. And is it Elisa you or Alyssa? Do you have a preference? Okay. Alyssa you then is here in person, but it's not Elsia, so that's a misspelling if you see it. It's a typo. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. All right, and here comes Annette. 35. And
Barry, it's
Mary.
Daria. I think it's already been established that I'm here, but I didn't hear my name in the roll.
I apologize. I did have you down.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, Miss Waring. If you could give folks a wave.
Barry, you didn't call me.
Annette, if you can give folks a wave so they know who you are.
Barry,
Yes, Carolyn.
did you call my name? I know
Yeah, I got you earlier, but hello, Carolyn Thompson. And Solomon Prophet, if you can give folks a
Amen.
wave. There you are. All right, I think that puts us at 37. We are well in quorum territory there. So I will call this meeting to order at 6:40 p.m.
Edwin, Barry, Edwin is here, I'm sorry.
Yes, Edwin, I have you, and I see that Deirdre McIntosh Brown has also joined.
And Heather is here.
Yes, Heather, I also have you. I think I called folks out of order. There's Deirdre. Okay, so 6:40 p.m. We have officially called the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
Can I just ask, is Solomon, are you going to take the minutes or shall I?
You want to join us up at the table?
You want to, yeah, do you want to join us up here, Solomon?
Okay, all right. Yes, Ted Solomon is taking minutes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Great. So are there any amendments necessary to the agenda? All right. A motion to adopt the agenda would be in order. Moved by Member Alexander, seconded by
Second.
Member Lumley. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed,
Aye.
say nay. The ayes have it. The agenda has been adopted. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes.
So moved, Barry.
Moved by Member Thompson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Member Edwards. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The minutes have been adopted. All right. So the first item on our agenda is a presentation by the Department of Sanitation on their pilot program on trash containerization in West Harlem, given by the Assistant Commissioners Ocotioro and Vigueres, and our own council member, the Honorable Sean Abreu. Is sanitation here yet? All right, come on down. And I believe, just make sure the microphone is turned on the podium, and we will turn the floor over to you.
Mic check. I think we're good.
Excellent.
Good evening, Community Board 9 members. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. There has been a lot of, talks about the explosive rat population in West Harlem. I know you've lived it. I know a lot of community members have lived it. I certainly have. And so, there's been a lot going on. So we have, received a few $1 million from the administration to establish rat mitigation zones. We have changed the set out times so that garbage doesn't sit out on the streets for more than 4 hours. Before it would sit out for 14 hours. Now it won't sit out for more than 4 hours at any given time. So we have compressed the amount of time that trash will now sit out on the street. The third issue now that we're going to be talking about tonight, and we have brought assistant commissioners from the Department of Sanitation. Commissioner Tisch could not be here tonight, I believe, because she has parent-teacher conference. But, containerization is something that came about because of a lot of constituents in West Harlem complaining about the trash buildup outside of our schools, beginning at PS 36 and at PS 153. And so for a very long time, we've been getting complaints. We even did a tour with Commissioner Tisch to figure out what's the issue with garbage being exposed. Garbage being exposed is a feast for our rats, specifically when they're not containerized. And so, about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, Commissioner Tisch announced this pilot that I personally was excited for. It was more ambitious than we had actually expected. I thought it would only cover a few schools. Then the commissioner mentioned that she wanted to do all the schools in this neighborhood. And so tonight we have the privilege to have presentations be done by the Department of Sanitation, also so that they can hear your input as to what you would like to see, but also so they can give you an update on what they're currently working on, specifically regarding the pilot that's to come. I'm going to be here to take questions, but I first want to hear from our sanitation assistant commissioners, Jonathan, and my apologies for getting Bubemi as well, who is joining us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, commissioners, and I believe we have a chief or deputy chief with us as well.
Yes, actually we do. I wanted to be sure that I have the entire team with me while I speak. Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's nice to be back in Harlem. The last time, well, I shouldn't say last time. There's a place down the block, not far from here. It used to be called the Frank Silvera's Writers Workshop. Anybody know it? Yeah. Well, that was my hangout spot those days in the 80s. So I'm going to date myself a little bit there. But it's good to be back up this way. Again, my name is Bubemi Okotiaro. I'm here with Jonathan and our chief, who is very familiar with the community. As the council member, this state earlier, a couple months ago, the department actually released a study that we did called The Future of Trash. As all of you know, we've been trying to ensure, let me go back, our mayor has insisted that we must have a clean city. It's just what he wants, and wants to ensure that the department has all the resources that it needs to do so. To that extent, our commissioner conducted a study, which was released, I think, a month or so ago, or 2 months ago, right? It's called The Future of Trash. In that particular study, we found out that we can actually do containerization in the city of New York like other urban big cities in the world. For instance, like in the UK, in Spain, like in Barcelona, for instance. It's actually the same thing that actually happens there. Things are containerized for the purpose of ensuring that we can mitigate against rat and rodent and all kind of issues, and to ensure that the neighborhoods are clean and cleaner. I know we've been working very hard on that. Probably you guys have noticed in your neighborhoods, on your blocks, around 11 at night, at times some people show up, kind of weighing your garbage. Have you guys seen that? Anybody seen that? I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. Now, we've been doing some surveys in the area, trying to ascertain the amount of garbage generated, in certain residential neighborhoods and blocks. Like the council member said earlier, this program will start first with the schools in CB9. I think we have 14 schools in this planning district, I believe. So we're going to start there first. It's a pilot program to kind of see what kind of waste is being, generated in the neighborhood, and to understand again, how people actually set out their trash. If we start with the schools first, it's a major issue for us, and then residential blocks become the next place that we go to. It's a study, it's a pilot. We want to ensure that we start in Harlem. Harlem has a wonderful history. So clearly it makes sense that we come to Harlem, unfortunately, to start this issue, because there's a major issue with rats, not just in Harlem, but Harlem seems to have a particular serious rodent challenge. And the mayor, of course, as all of you know, did designate an area in this area here as a rat mitigation zone. So clearly it makes sense for us to be here to start this. Again, it's a pilot. And we hope it's a pilot that hopefully eventually will be now citywide with time. So we want to start here first, hopefully learn some things from here. With a good mix of houses that we have in Harlem, it makes sense that we come here to try to help and resolve some of the issues that we've noticed, kind of work through it with you guys in the community, because this is your community. We need your input and your buy-in and your feedback as we try to make this happen. I don't want to talk too much, except if it's up to you, Mr. Chair, whatever it is you want us to deal with and get questions, or should we just keep going on? You tell me what you...
Well, I think one thing that everybody is interested in is it's very good to know that the sites to be rolled out first will be schools, but can you talk about how we can work with the department in terms of selecting the residential blocks that will be test sites for the residential component of the pilot?
We can actually take suggestions without a doubt. That goes without saying, right? Because that's what we're here to really do, is not to just impose our own views on anybody. It's to say, okay, we're here, we've been doing some surveys of the area so far. We have some ideas of some things, right? For instance, maybe you guys know this. In New York City right now, we're talking about 50% of our residential low density housing already, can actually do the well-being, those garbage cans that we have in our homes. So those of us who are homeowners, we can actually have, we can do that. We're doing that right now in this area as we speak. 39% are mid and high density buildings would get like shared, what we call the shared stationary containers, whereby folks are now expected, of course, to take their garbage to those containers on their block, because there will be quite a few. Once we've done with our survey and we're very clear how much we're going to need per block, and then we'll make that determination where to place it. Of course, we'll work with you guys. Nobody's going to just dump things in front of your house. That will be taken into consideration as well. So your input will be important to us, not just us imposing our own point of views on you. It's a pilot. I have to keep saying that because it is a pilot program that we're trying to walk through in this area.
I just want to reiterate that this is a pilot, and it is very important to the city. It's part of an overall process that we're doing with changing the set out times, like the council member mentioned, and rolling out a citywide composting program that will also help alleviate some of the rat and cleanliness issues. And so it's not just one part of it, but it is a very important part. And one of the actual benefits of this is that the areas that are in the pilot area where there will be shared containers placed out on the streets, we're going to increase collection from 3 times a week up to 6 times a week. So that means it's going to be out there daily. And part of that is going to be in order to test the feasibility of what 6-day-a-week collection looks like in the city. This pilot program is also going to help us learn what it's like to use new equipment, because we have to develop entirely new trucks. We have to, the waste will no longer be collected directly from the curb. It will now be picked up from a truck and dumped directly into one of our fleet. So we are testing out what that looks like, and your input and the challenges and the successes that we learn from this, it impacts how the rollout will likely go across the entire city. So this is very, very important for the cleanliness, for the overall health, for the rat mitigation. There's just it's a big process, and there's a lot of changes in the department and also here, and we really appreciate that.
So one question that I imagine folks would like to know is, can you tell us a bit more about these containers and where they will be placed on a block in terms of, it's the roadbed, I believe, but what is the size of these containers generally? Do you have a model selected, or is it still part of the pilots to figure that out? They're rat proof, presumably. Can you go into some details there?
Okay, thank you very much. I think if memory serves me correctly, the containers actually are made of plastic. I use the word plastic, it's very hard. It's made by a company called Barracuda, is that the name? Yeah. It's it's a well-known firm. So they do this kind of work. So it's rat-proof, really. They really can get through, yes.
They're bear-proof. The ones that we're looking at. Again, they're not finalized, but that's the bear in the name. Yeah. They're plastic containers. They're going to be out in the street, and they're not going to be locked like they are in the previous pilots that we've been working through. These are accessible to anyone. You just open the lid and you place it in. And because all residents and all buildings will be using them, we want to make sure that they're accessible. The idea is to have them 150, 200 feet from any given building, but hopefully it's less. And what we're doing now with the surveys is we are going through to check the waste in the neighborhood on each specific block so that we can minimize the footprint of this. We want it to be as unintrusive as possible, understanding that, of course, it will make an impact, but we are studying and we are out in the field right now trying to make sure that we can make it as usable, user-friendly as possible.
And what are the rough dimensions? Are they all one size? Are they different sizes?
Yeah, I think, again, they haven't been finalized, but I think it's about the size of like 2 rub the rollaway containers approximately. So that's about the rough size. But once we have the specifics, we are going to make sure that we communicate that to you and to the public well in advance.
Yes, Monique, go ahead.
So,
Use the mic, though.
additional question. So are they going to be placed on the sidewalk or on the street itself?
On the street itself, right? Yes, on the street, not on the sidewalk. It would actually, just like where these cars are parked, something like that.
Okay, so in the street where parking concerns come into play.
Of course, which is why we said the intent and the plan, what we've been doing with the survey so far is to ensuring that we can utilize space without really impacting too much as we can, right, on the parking, because we understand, parking is premium, so we get that. So the survey we're doing right now in the neighborhood is really trying to allow us to understand, number one, how much space we're going to need. Looking at the waste that is coming out of the different blocks will give us an idea what kind of containers we need to put and where we need to put it. If it's going to be a big one, a small one, a medium-sized one, as the case may be, whatever comes out of the block is what will determine what we place. And we're going to do our best to ensure that we don't, hopefully, take too many parking spaces. We hope we can actually make it very minimal, and that's really the plan.
So I'm seeing hands going up, so I'm gonna come up with a list that'll be running. I see Tina Lumley, and then virtually we have Joyce, and then we have Dr. Johnson, and then Miriam, Carlton, Walter, Victor, and then I see some folks in the public, and Michael and Thiago. So we have a lot. I will ask you to write down your question now so that you do not forget it. In case someone else asks it, you do not then have to ask it. I am going to ask one board-specific question, though, before we get to that list, which is, will there be a regular cadence of meetings with the operational folks involved in this pilot so that both the community board, specifically our Uniform Services Transportation Committee, impacted block associations, resident associations, co-op boards, whatever, community stakeholders can give continuous feedback throughout the pilot? Is there a mechanism yet to do that?
I don't think there will necessarily be an issue in terms of what you just asked. I think it's something that's doable. So allow me to, let me say yes, that of course we're open to that. It makes sense because we're going to be working in your community. So it makes sense that we work with you. So the long and short is yes.
Great, thank you. So, Tina.
And I just want to add on top of that, of course, we definitely will set up regular meetings. My name is Jonathan Vigers. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for Outreach. So I'll regularly be here to help communicate these issues. But also, because of its 6-day-a-week collection, we anticipate that our sanitation workers will be able to identify a lot of issues daily because they'll be out in the field. So they will be checking on the bins, on the maintenance, on the status, on their usage, all of that, and reporting back to us on a daily basis. So on top of the community aspect, which is obviously very important, we will also have our internal mechanisms in place as well.
Okay, so Tina, would you like to go ahead? And can we actually get a mic to Tina? Let's give Monique. Hold on, Tina, just a second, so everybody can hear you. We're going to give you a mic. Thank you, Miriam.
You're starting with the schools, but are you looking at the 311 calls and where they're coming from? Because I've made a lot of them. Are you looking at that to determine where else to put the garbage cans?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
And are you looking at projects? Because there tends to be a great number of bags around projects. I can think of several in particular, and I just want to make sure that there's certain projects that are being targeted, and there's going to be a container out there.
You mean housing developments?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I will expect that to be the case. So I don't think that I would expect that to be the case. That,
And
of course, we're going to put it in the.
When is this going to start?
Yeah, so the schools will start before the new school year. So we are hoping to we will put the containers for the schools in place in August. And again, once we have the exact location, we're in touch with DOE, but we'll make sure that we communicate that here as well. For the residential part of the program, we don't have a start date yet. And again, we will do our best to make sure that with at least a month's notice, once we have the locations firmly set, but we'll be communicating to the public and everyone here throughout the process. But there is no set start date for the residential side.
Okay. As far
Tina,
as the
can I let Joyce go?
All right,
Sorry.
thank you. Thank you so much. Firstly, I want to thank you, Councilmember Shauna Abreu, for trying to deal with this issue of rat in our community because it has eaten up the wires of cars, costing a great deal of money. I also want to say that I have seen many of the sanitation workers measuring the trash. I've had conversations with them, extensive conversations. There's only one question I did not ask them, and perhaps you can answer it. I have seen them in residential areas measuring the trash, okay, so that they can know the size of the trash bin that should be there. My question is, how long is this program for? I mean, you said that you are just testing it. How long will it be for?
It's actually right now, don't hold me to a time frame, please, and I'll tell you why. Because we have to test in the summer, of course, and you have to test as well in the fall to kind of see, right, what it is you get in and how you're getting it. So if you allow me to just say it's going to be over, couple of months or thereabout, don't hold me to specific dates here, because again, we have to test in the fall and in the, and in the winter season to see indeed how this stuff hopefully will work out. And if whatever we learn in the field will inform how we move forward. Does that make sense? I hope it does.
Yes,
So-
that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Next up on my list, I have Dr. Johnson.
Hi, I live in the area. I drive. I actually, on my way here, it was difficult finding parking. So I understand it's going to be on the street. I'm wondering, is that decision already made? Can it be reconsidered to put them on the sidewalks? Can that be possible? The other thing is the inventory on parking has been compromised in terms of parking meters, spaces for deliveries and cabs. So if it has to be on the street, can the city do something to redistrict the parking rules? So it's very difficult to park. You have to move your car at a certain time and a certain day. So if it has to be on the street, can that be reconsidered, and can the community board and the residents be instrumental in that process?
I can take that back, to be honest with you. Let me take that back as an idea. Okay, thank you.
Next up, I have Miriam, I believe, right? We'll wait for the mic.
Like threefold. Is it one per block? You're trying to figure that out?
Yes, we're trying to figure that out right now.
Also on blocks with hills, we have a very hilly neighborhood. I happen to live on one of the steepest blocks, I think, in all of Manhattan, 148th Street. I have seen sanitation trucks slide backwards. No joke, in the winter. So keep that in mind in our community. And then we have a lot of RSOs, like single residency people living, and you don't necessarily see the trash on the block, but they put it on the corner, in the corner bins. So you see a lot of our corner bins overflowing with single bags of trash. So when you're counting the blocks, count the corner bins. And also the street vendors. I have personally seen the fruit street vendors dumping their old fruit in our corner trash cans. So they're taking up they're feeding a lot of rats.
Let me start where you just ended, if you don't mind. My office is in charge. Well, and I can say this. My office actually runs the enforcement for street vendors. So maybe you and I need to talk afterwards. If you can give me exactly where this is happening, I can have some of our officers take a look. And if need be, have some enforcement action actually take place there, because they are not supposed to be doing that. They're not supposed to be doing that at all. Okay,
And
okay,
Miriam,
I got you.
I will add that as the Assistant Commissioner assistant or deputy commissioner mentioned that we have also been declared a rat mitigation zone. I'll get to that in my chair's report, but that means that extra resources from Department of Health and sanitation are also going to be deployed, including stepped up enforcement. So that is something we will definitely want to coordinate on. But back to the question list, we next have Mr. Davis.
I just wanted to know if y'all can send out a letter of confidence to NYCHA to follow suit on what y'all doing. Since y'all have agencies, I've been in numerous meetings with sanitation and resident associations and NYCHA itself. Why don't y'all just link up together? Because you have two schools over near Grant. One is embedded on the outskirts of Grant houses. That's PS 125. Then across the street is PS 36. And if NYCHA is lacking in reducing the trash within the confines of their own developments, you should see the landfill outlook when you walk up on Amsterdam Avenue. It looked like a landfill again. Well, it didn't at one point, but I'm not going to get into that. And as far as our brothers and sisters over in Manhattanville, they got a multiple school over there and mass trans over there. And that need to be followed suit. Somebody need to give out a letter of confidence that what you're initiating, since y'all taking the reins, that it can be completed and y'all can, it works and y'all can complete it.
Yeah, we have regular communications with NYCHA, but we will definitely make sure to pick that up. But I do just want to make sure that we're being clear that the pilot program for this containerization it's only going to be a 10-block radius. It's not the entire community board. So only 10 blocks will have these shared containers. On top of that, we will be using adjacent areas to the containerization.
I asked for a letter of confidence. Can a letter of confidence be written? I'm not worrying about the radius. I'm asking for a letter of confidence that you can send to the New York City Housing Authority and other areas that y'all are promoting an initiative to clean up. It's just a letter saying, hey, we let's all do this. Let's start a nuclear outlook.
And I will again add, it's kind of fortuitous that this is happening at the same time as the rat mitigation zone designation. Part of a huge focus of what they're doing is NYCHA. So making sure all of these efforts from all of the city agencies, from other parts of sanitation, are coordinated with the residential containerization pilot and the schools containerization pilot. Just to clarify, all 14, every school in Manhattan Community District 9 will be part of the containerization pilot, not just schools within that 10-block radius, which is for the residential phase.
Correct.
Cool. Next up, we have Walter Alexander, followed by Victor, Michael, Thiago, and then I see we've got 3 hands in the Zoom, including one from the co-chair of sanitation of Uniform Services Transportation, which covers sanitation, Carolyn Thompson. So let's go, Mr. Alexander.
Okay, the first thing is, as a takeoff to what the other folks have been saying, is now they want to put the bins, but the city is also initiating these compost things. How will the compost affect the bins? That's one. Second thing, you're talking about 6 days a week collection. Fantastic. Are you hiring folks? Third thing, I don't drive, but I'm saying this for folks here that do,
Yes,
okay?
sir.
We have either very rarely used or abandoned street. The restaurants had their stuff out on the street that people don't. There's one on my block, 146th Street, 148th and 149th. Never used. Nobody sits in there, and it's taking up spots on the ground. So there's a lot of them in the neighborhood as well as the city. Are those going to be demolished or removed so this thing can move forward? No, so my 3 thing.
Let me start with the second one, I think, and then I'll pass the issue of compost to my colleague here. Actually, the third one. There has been, I believe the mayor and the city did announce that those street, what do you call it? Those street dining thing kind of out of fashion right now. So you're going to see more action in terms of trying to have them removed, from the streets. I mean, so folks are actually doing that.
Yeah, so the city council is contemplating a bill for outdoor dining, and that bill, which should be voted on, I don't know if it's this stated or the next stated, Outdoor dining is not going to be with the permanent fixed structures anymore. They're going to be removable. So hopefully that frees up some space, and they're only going to be seasonal as well. In addition, we actually introduced a bill that would remove derelict vehicles within 72 hours upon the agency's notice of that. So hopefully that frees up space as well. We understand that this neighborhood, they're big on driving, and I support both sides, right? I support our drivers too. So that's something that we're keeping mindful.
Okay. Yes. Actually, Manhattan is it next year? Yeah. So we are in Manhattan next year. Brooklyn is this year. So Manhattan's compost will start next year. October next year. I was in Brooklyn as well as October October this year is Brooklyn, and then next year, October, I think it comes to Manhattan. So we are on our way. We started in Queens.
Yes, I believe, but again, we haven't finalized it. But just like there would be separate bins for recycling, there's separate bins for waste, and then once composting comes in, there would be a separate bin. And part of the new composting citywide rollout, that's collected on the same day as recycling. But we'll see how that is impacted as this moves forward.
Sure, we always like to hire folks.
Message received, Walter. Next up, we have our first Vice Chair, Victor Edwards.
Yes, good evening. I've had the opportunity the last week or so to speak to several residents in my area that own brownstones, townhouses, and some co-ops as well. One of the concerns is what you're describing in the trash bin is something that can be opened and closed, right? So they're concerned, and mine as well. We have people in the community, as you know, that will go into the garbage, pull that out, and it'll be in front of their place. And no one's responsible for that. And we have that now in the corner with the trash cans where people pull stuff out. So it kind of defeats the purpose. I would envision a self-closing type container where you can put things in and you can't reach in and get things out. Because there'll be, trust me, it'll be all over the street.
Thank you for that. We'll take that back, please, if you don't mind.
The second was a follow-up to Dr. Johnson's question, whether they can be put on the sidewalk and picked up at when the alternate side parking clears that side of the street, which will give you 4 days, not 6, but it would possibly give more parking. Parking is a concern.
Yeah, I mean, parking is,
the neighborhood.
Yes, yeah, I mean, yes, it is. Let me say again, we'll take that back, make whatever a study, because again, we are working through this. It's kind of new. So allow us to take a look at that, the idea that you raised, and then, we'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Then come back to you guys.
Next up, we have Michael Iglesias.
Thank you. So I just want to say, as somebody that's not originally from New York, that the sanitation problem in New York is frankly disgusting. People have been living with it for a long time. It is completely unacceptable how it is. And I just want to go through some questions because I have a lot of them on this issue. So how are you modeling the solution off of? I can walk, through Columbia. They have compost, they have trash, they have recycling already, and there's rats going through there. So I don't necessarily see how this particular solution is going to be the be-all, end-all. It just sounds like a Band-Aid. So where are you getting this solution from? Where are the studies backing this? Are you basing this off of a city in particular, or is this just an idea that just came out of thin air?
So the first, just please go on to the next and we'll answer all at once. That's okay.
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Okay, so no, this isn't just out of thin air. We've looked at we're really the only major city that places trash directly on the street, and I understand the sense that the shared containers isn't like a one solution, but again, that's part of an overarching that's part of our overarching plan. We just can release the Future of Trash study. So if you are really interested in how we came up with this and why we think this is so important, there's a 96-page report that you can definitely read. It's on our website. But this is part of a bigger project. That's why we changed set out times for residents, businesses. That's why we're now encouraging. We just proposed a rule that commercial businesses will now, all commercial food related establishments may have to put all of their waste into tightly lidded containers. So that's another thing that could start. We also have changed our shift times. So now we have increased collection over the midnight shift, and we moved one of our shifts earlier so that now collection doesn't start at 6, it starts at 5 a.m. So we're making fundamental changes in the department, and we're asking a lot from residents too. But we understand that one solution won't work. We have to take a multifaceted, large-scale approach, because this is a dramatic issue, and we are, the only city in the country that does just place plastic bags out on the street. So yeah, this is a big effort for us, and we're getting plenty of other agencies involved as well.
Great. And just one more follow-up question, because I know people have more questions, but how regularly are you going to be meeting with the community? I know, for example, I went to the Services and Transportation Committee earlier this month, and you guys weren't present. So how often are you guys going to meet? That committee is going to be adjourned until September. So is there going to be any plans to meet monthly, or how are we going to be able to know so that way we have updates on your proposed solution?
I think, like we said earlier, we are going to definitely do a lot of outreach, and we're going to ensure that the communication is two-way street, right? And the community board definitely will be a partner and is a partner with us. So we're going to be working directly with them. Whatever it is we're going to be doing or not doing, we're going to let them know, so that way they can let you guys know as well. So in terms of whether there's a meeting that's been had, at times, and it's just the truth. I'm sorry to say this, it's a big city, right? So, but a very limited number of folks that we have working for us. So on the night you're having a meeting, maybe I have staff in Queens right now, and there are 4 of my members, all over the place trying to do meetings. So at times we don't have enough members to actually show up. At times I have to call the chief to actually come to some meetings, because it's important that we have somebody there to speak to issues that is specific to the neighborhood. So to the extent that the board lets us know that we are needed in a meeting of that sort, will make it possible for someone to be there to answer the questions and be part of it. So you're going to see a lot of us. We are not trying to duck or hide. So we're here.
Okay. So I promise just one more question. So how can people give feedback? How can they get in contact with sanitation? If they have any ideas, do they just call? Do they email? What are some practical ways that people can give feedback and receive feedback, as you're saying that it's a two-way street, but this is the first time just seeing it happen?
May I suggest that we have things centralized? May I suggest as well that it goes through your community board, right? And maybe the member's office as well, so that way it's a little bit easier for us to track and manage, right? I think that probably will be my own idea. If you don't agree, that's okay, but that's just my, just my thought in terms of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go to Thiago next, and then Daria virtually, and Carolyn, if you're still interested, since this is your committee, and then Reverend Caldwell, and then we will take questions from non-board members. Thiago, go ahead.
So, just one question. Is this, a lot of hay has been made about this 6 days a week collection. Is that just going to be for the pilot streets?
So it will be, it's not going to be throughout the whole community board. It will be for the areas, when we decide what the 10-block radius is, we will also include some of the adjacent streets as well. Because again, we do want to make sure that we are not only learning about the shared containers and their usage, but what our sort of feasibility is for a 6-day-a-week collection, and how that impacts our fleet, how that impacts our sanitation workers. So there will be an area around the actual pilot area as well, but it's not going to be the whole community board.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Thiago. Next up, Daria, and then Carolyn, you had your hand up, it's now down, and then Reverend Caldwell. Daria, go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you so much for answering all the questions. My questions are piggybacking off of some things that have already been said, except they are expanding on them a bit. The first thing is a comment. Miriam was saying, talking about the corner bins, considering the fact that we are, this is what it's all about. We have a lot of rats. This 20 plus years in New York, I haven't gotten used to the filth either. So I appreciate that we're trying to do something. With that said, corner bins disappearing while we have you here, corner baskets disappearing does not help. Whether, over the years, sometimes they disappear from the corners in this neighborhood, which they have, in the subway or whatever, just in general, but specific to our neighborhood, we have had them start to disappear. That does not help keep the trash off the streets. More importantly, Councilmember Abreu, I wanted to ask you, there was something that had been introduced a year or two ago, I believe, by then Councilmember Levine when the borough president was on city council. And this is speaking to the loss of parking spaces. Part of a bigger, this is important. So even if these have to go on the street, I think this is important. However, a bigger opponent of us in terms of losing parking spaces is the people who come over here from Jersey and Connecticut and everywhere else. And there had been something introduced to have parking passes for the neighborhood. And do you know what happened to that? Is it dead? Is it dormant? And if it is either one of those, would you please consider reintroducing parking passes for area residents? And then we wouldn't, there would be less of a fight about these very important things that we're trying to mitigate, the rats and the trash.
Let's let him answer.
Yeah.
Carmen actually carries the bill. It's a Northern Manhattan residential parking bill that she has, and certainly, happy to consider. There are implications, right? There are less parking spot. There are more cars than there are parking spots, so it will be a challenge regardless. But it's something that we are very much open to. Thank you.
Great. And I'm going to introduce, there you are, Carolyn, our co-chair of our Uniform Services Transportation Committee, Carolyn Thompson. I think it's important to note, as is suggested in the title of the committee, that that committee also oversees the Department of Transportation's activities in our district. And this sounds like a very important sister agency that you would be partnering with since you're working in the roadbed. Can you talk about DOT's role in this pilot?
We are I'll use this term, we're in advanced conversation. We've been talking to them, to all agencies that will be involved here. It's not just our agency alone, but because we have to. We are talking as well with the DOE. We're pretty much in advanced stage in terms of that. There's clear understanding, I believe, in terms of what it is we're trying to do, and I think there's support and buy-in. But it's important as well that we come to the community, to be able to explain what it is we're trying to do. So the answer is yes. There's ongoing conversation, discussion with Commissioner Idanis Rodriguez, the DOT. So we are all focused in terms of trying to make this happen.
Great, thank you. Carolyn, want to say hi and introduce yourself as co-chair? Oh, I see we don't have your audio, or she's on mute. Oh, here, I'm going to ask you to unmute, Carolyn.
All right, go ahead. I unmuted, Barry.
We can hear you faintly.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for the commissioner? We assume that your committee will be the focal point of these discussions.
Yes. One of the questions is how would this particular committee handle illegal dumping from neighbors? I've watched neighbors come out of their buildings and drop their garbage in the cans.
So yeah, how would we handle, either dumping in the street bins or dumping adjacent to and not using the containers properly?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Let me try and clear some things up here. When someone picks up a garbage from their home and they put it on the street, technically speaking, it's not, in quote, illegal dumping. It's not really that. There's a different term for that. Illegal dumping simply means, folks who put trash, whatever, in their vehicles and they drive somewhere to go load it somewhere that they shouldn't be doing. The city actually, and our department is very focused on this. We have a huge program that the member's office and others actually did support to allow us to be able to go out there and catch those guys. And we've done quite well so far when it comes to illegal dumping. For what she's talking about, if a neighbor picks up the garbage from their home and just throw on the floor somewhere, it's kind of difficult for me to know, right? Unless someone tells us that this is what's going on. Or if our staff happen to be on the street and they see such a thing, then of course they will action it. It is very, very difficult to be very honest about it. I'm a homeowner myself, and I can guarantee you this. At times people come and drop this from my house and just walk away, right?
Thank you.
Sorry, sir, we're going to wrap up with, are you a member of the community board? Okay, yeah, I have a list of people that I'm calling in sequence. I've got Reverend Caldwell next, and then I can take some questions from the broader public. Reverend Caldwell, you still on? I don't think we have Reverend Caldwell. So there was a woman who'd had her hand up, and then I'll call on the gentleman in the cap.
I was on mute. I was on mute.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you for hearing my question. This might sound a little funny, but it is not a ha-ha issue. In beginning, Department of Sanitation mentioned that the mayor was very interested in having a cleaner New York. Well, on an evening night talk show, Mr. Stephen Colbert made a joke about the feces found on the sidewalks in New York City, where he commented, if your child fell, just leave them there. And I think this is a serious issue. This is not something that we can sweep off our sidewalks or anything like that. But in fact, just given looking at the fact that we have just come out of a pandemic, I think that there needs to be taken extra precautionary measures that would cause disease or sickness to our children or ourselves.
So Reverend Caldwell, the question is addressing dog waste on the sidewalks?
Yes, I am. What measures will be taken to fix this issue? Because now it is not only known in New York, but around the world that this is an issue.
I'll let the chief answer that question if you don't mind.
Please.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Oh, sorry. Good evening. I'm Deputy Chief Gerald
evening,
Mariscal. When it comes to the pooping of the canine waste and stuff like that, it's an actionable offense. So we actually have to observe it in order to give a summons. There's no real way for us to determine where that come from unless we actually observe it ourselves. And there's been an initiative that was down in Community Board 4 before, where we actually went out and were taking action with the canines, but we don't have resources on a daily basis to, specifically follow, canines all day. I mean, but when we do see it, though, we definitely take action on it.
And I think
the question of that is not to follow the canine. We know that in the residence, especially around brownstones and townhouses as well, people have canine. So my question is more like, what can you do on a regular basis in order to maintain the cleanliness?
So Reverend Caldwell, I'm gonna halt it there for a moment, because Councilmember Menon has a bill actually to reformat or reform how that particular violation is enforced. And I think I want to get back to the question
Okay.
of containerized. Sir, if you give me a moment, I'm calling people in an order. I will call you after the woman who had her hand up. Listen, people put their hands up, people wait in a line to ask a question. I'm calling on the woman who had her hand up first, then I'm going to call on you in the cap, then the woman in the salmon top. Go ahead, ma'am.
Solid Waste Advisory Board, and I have 3 children that attend a school that's been selected for the pilot, so I'm very excited to participate. My question is following up on my neighbor's comment about the compost element, and I was going to suggest or ask if you could consider making it from the get-go, the school would separate out the compost, even if it's not collected differently, just so that the schools have a chance to build in that habit themselves. Because I'm anticipating that they will be scraping off plates and distributing plates to the dishwasher, collecting food in a separate container, and then taking it out to the street. And so it could give the schools a chance to work out the kinks inside before the city's accepting the compost waste.
And can you state your name for the record?
I'm Danielle Hartley.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we can definitely consider that and have conversations with DOE as we're doing our rollout and having figure out if that's possible.
yeah,
That's
for
true.
sure.
And
Yeah, and the rats are mostly after the food waste, and so perhaps by separating out, you may not have to include or take up a lot of street space if you're just having to collect the food waste in those rat-proof or rat-resistant bins. And if I could have just a second for a follow-up, it would be, is there any partnerships within the DOE where you're trying to prevent food waste from occurring in the first place, and instituting things like sharing tables or promoting them? That's definitely, I would imagine, outside DSNY, but is there some sort of partnership or dual so that we could prevent the waste in the first place?
I don't think we have something like that in place, but we do have our master composter program. So we have where we're training, I think 700 people participated in that last year, where people are learning how to be advocates for composting in their community. And we also do partner with the Compost Project, which does a lot of outreach and education. So I don't think we have the sort of mandate to be able to do it in the schools directly, but we are doing a lot of outreach and education about composting because it is so important.
all right, and we can include DOE in the rat mitigation efforts as
Just
well.
to add, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
sir.
go
Just
ahead.
to quickly add something, the chief just kind of reminded me of something. Right now, as we speak, folks actually do pick up compost in the schools, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. So we're kind of doing some of what you're talking about as we speak now. Okay, so we're trying to get there, and we'll get there with time.
So Madison, if you can bring the mic back to the gentleman in the cap, and then we'll take the woman with the salmon top. You're after the gentleman in the cap. And can you state your name for the record as well?
Aldo Bueno. Okay, my rent's $3,000. I've been out here since I was a little boy.
Mike.
Sorry, sir. Wow, it's nice. So, compost issue, that's okay. You can move your little eggshells, whatever. What about the rent? What about the rat issue? What about all the vandalism and shit like that? What are you gonna do about that? Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you.
So the rat, this is part of rat mitigation. I'll also get into that
Well,
after.
you remember, you put
What's that?
you put little steam things, the rats go away. That's not a big issue. What are you gonna do about the rent? I'm
Oh,
paying
the
three
rent.
bands. I'm paying 3 bands, $3,000. 10 years ago, I was paying $1,200. Now I'm
So-
paying $3,000 my
So
rent.
this community board does a lot with housing and rent. I would refer you to our housing.
No, I don't need
committee.
that. Thank you,
Well,
sir.
okay, we're not addressing that right now. So, we'll go now to the woman who had her hand up in the salmon top.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna take your job next.
Hold on, take the mic.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Hi.
The pay
My-
ain't great. Go ahead.
I thought I was going to be the voice of chaos. However, my name is Donna Ingram Young, and I'm going to speak to you from a very, very low level. I'm a mom, and I'm a Harlem homeowner. I have come from San Francisco, where they have beautiful, beautiful Victorian homes. And it has always been my dream to own one. It has always been my dream, doubly dream, to live in Harlem. And to have, and my pride is when my son says, when people ask me where I'm from, I say, I'm from Harlem. What I am really concerned with is you put bins in front of my beautiful home and the value goes down. Like on our street, we really don't have a rat problem.
Which street are you on?
142,
Between Broadway and
between Broadway and Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Okay.
We've had problems, but we managed to take care of them ourselves. You know, either by calling, you know, private, what are those people called? Exterminators, you know, we call the exterminators to come, okay? I really can't envision some bin in front of my house permanently there that people can put garbage into. It just makes me gag. It makes me worry about the value of my home. It makes me worry about the African-American legacy that I'm leaving. It makes me feel like I cannot vote for you in a couple of weeks. You know, it makes me, I'm sorry.
I can respond to that.
I'm just
the
I'm
community.
Just,
The community. I'll let you speak. I'll let you
I
finish.
am like, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to, and I know it's turning into a vent and a rant, but it just, I understand, I do understand the situation with sanitation and the rat situation and everything. I do understand it, but I'm afraid to fall victim financially and aesthetically. And as an artist, I really, you know, I just came from a shoot, which is why I'm in full makeup still. But sorry. I'm done.
May I respond to that?
Go ahead, council member.
I think cleaner neighborhoods actually increase property values, for one. For two, there's a majority of people in this district, many of you here in this room, who are calling for containerization. And my job is to represent the will of the people. And if it means pissing off a few folks, that's okay. Because my job is to establish rat mitigation zones. My job is to reduce the rat population in this neighborhood. My job is to make sure that garbage is done in such a way that we're on par with modern times. That being said, your position is one that DSNY should consider. If your block doesn't make sense, that's something that they should consider. But don't take shots at elected officials when they're just doing their jobs. Thank you.
So, ma'am, with your hand up, and then Anita, then the gentleman with the hat, then we have Dr. Torres, and then I'm going to call it because this has been the first hour of the meeting on this topic. Go ahead.
I also live in a house.
I'm sorry. Before you, I'm so sorry, sir. Just wanted to say something very quickly to you, ma'am. Besides the containers that we are now talking about doing as pilot program, folks can still bring out their garbage, you know, in their, you know, in the bags or in the bin. So it doesn't really, for now, it doesn't really mean that we're going to have something in front of your house. Not necessarily so, because your block may be a very small block. So I live in a very small block, for example, and I observed there is a container at the end of my block, like on the main street. So again, I'm not so sure what's going to happen on yours. I'm just, as an example, I'm almost certain that at the end of this survey that we are doing, I want to believe that care will be taken greatly to ensuring that stuff is not, you know what I'm saying, make people's homes less valuable. I'm almost certain of that we're going to do everything we can to avoid that.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I live in a house on 143rd, and we have a lot of rats, and so I'm really happy to hear that we're talking about it.
Can you state your name also?
Nicole Becker. I just wonder, I actually don't know if it's allowed for us to put the garbage out in a bin. Because if we were allowed to do that, I'd encourage all of my neighbors to do it, because maybe that alone would be a step towards helping on our block.
Actually, you are, but I'll let him.
Yeah. Yeah, you can absolutely put your waste out in a bin, and a lot of residents in New York City do. In fact, if you now, according to the new regulations, if you put your waste out before 8 p.m., it's supposed to be in a container. So after 8 p.m., you continue putting out in bags, but anytime before, well, let's say after 6, you have to, it should be in a container.
So we can put a bin out earlier? I had no idea.
At 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is the earliest. Yep.
That would be great. If everybody did that, that would be a lot fewer rats, I think.
So Anita Chang, and then Dr. Torres and Mr. Grennan, and then we're done. We're calling it. It's been an hour on this topic. You're on public session. You put your name in. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the gentleman in the hat. Go ahead. We've spent an hour on this, and this will not be the last meeting. We started on this at 6:40. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name's David Coldley. I also live on 142nd Street. No schools on that street. My question is, I have two questions. One of which, what is the difference between these containers on the street and a dumpster? Only the dumpster doesn't have a lid. Because these are just really going to be a magnet for everybody, certainly on Broadway, to empty all their crap in there. And also, presumably, you know, when they're there permanently, how does the street cleaner function? Because usually, you know, there's a big mad shift of cars when the street cleaner comes up, and some idiot always leaves their car there, usually outside our house, and then the street cleaner doesn't clean the street outside our house. So presumably, when these dumpsters are there and they're permanent, then that section alone is over time just going to be a really filthy section of the street with a really, you know, with these bins in the middle of this area. That's one question I have. The second question is the mechanics of these vehicles. There was circulated the trucks in like Barcelona, and I'm from England originally, and we have a similar system, but everybody has to wheel these gigantic bins out into the street, and then the garbage trucks come along, and then they have these hooks on the back, which I'm presuming you're going to adapt the existing trucks like you do with the snow plows on the front. Nothing as elaborate as the ones in Barcelona. So my question is, you're going to have the bins, the containers for the bins, and then presumably the truck has to back up to these things to load them out? If that's the case, then not only do the bins take the space of 2 cars, but you need to have a vacant spot for the truck to back up to these things to take them out. Alternatively, if they come from the side of the bins into the road, and you don't have the adapted trucks that do a side load, then you're going to have some sort of door for the garbage men then to wheel these bins out of the containers and hook them onto the back of the truck.
So the questions were how is this different from a dumpster? How does it work with street cleaning, and how do these bins get dumped into the trucks?
Let me start from the end. In terms of the street cleaning, let me go there, because we do right now it's going to be 6 days a week, if I'm not mistaken. And so therefore your street, that area will be clean. But whether there's a car there or not, if there's a car there, for example, parked, blocking our guys from doing their job, that car will be ticketed. And if need be, I can say this. No, I'm sorry.
Are you going to move the containers?
Oh yes. I'm sorry. The bin actually is movable by, I think the semi-automatic thing that we are now doing. Trucks will be retrofitted. As we're talking right now, we're working on that. Some already has been retrofitted to ensure that they can actually come right in and pick it up. There's a way in which it is done. I'm not an expert in that area, so.
No, sir. So I understand that a lot of people are here because they're very interested in this topic. They have a lot to say. If you look at our agenda, though, we have many other items, and this is why we have specialized committees that deal with specific topics. We have a housing committee, we have an arts and culture committee, we have a youth education and libraries committee, we have a uniform services and transportation committee that will be following this very closely and in great detail. So if you have a lot of interest in the operational specifics of how this works, I would strongly encourage you to sign up to come and leave your name and information so that we can invite you to these meetings that focus on this pilot. Those will probably occur even over the summer. The sanitation department is here to, sir, this board hears questions, topics, and resolutions on a wide variety of issues facing our community. We have been on this topic for an hour. We have a land use question before us tonight. Actually, we have 2 land use questions before us tonight and a number of other issues in addition to our regularly scheduled reports. So if you would like to continue to be involved in the rollout and operation of this pilot, and continue to be in contact with the Department of Sanitation, I strongly encourage you to leave your information at the table with our staff. Akil, if you can give folks a wave, so that we can continue to keep you informed. You can suck your teeth all you like. This is how it's going to go. Ms. Chang.
Mr. Edwards said. Thank you. One is 6-day-a-week pickup. I wonder if that could be a local jobs program. That's number one. Number two, I just wanted to mention that, you know how Salvation Army has those clothing donations that hinge out? I heard in the news, you probably have heard too, that people have gotten stuck and fallen in and actually passed away. So just wanted to mention that since it sounds like the bins have not been finalized.
Thank you. And just so that you know, look, we make ourselves available. We will come back again and again and again to answer as many questions as possible. And if need be, at the appropriate time, we can commit to bring in some of our operations people to actually answer the question that the gentleman just asked. Because I think it's important that people understand, to your point, sir, that folks on the operational side are very, very much experienced in what they are doing, and they can come down and explain at the appropriate time. You know, we'll come back again. I have no issues. Right. But I'm not an operations man, so that's what I'm saying to you. I'll bring the experts who actually operate those vehicles to explain it, because I don't want to give you the wrong information, right? So allow us that, if you don't mind.
All right. So Dr. Torres and then Mr. Grennan, and then we're closing this item and moving our agenda. Dr. Torres, can you make it very brief, please?
Thank you, Barry. I have 2 short questions. One, can they speak on the feasibility and the cost effectiveness of this program? And what is the burden on taxpayer from implementing this? Second is, what is the potential environmental consequence of this initiative if such was done, especially in CB9, since you guys are rolling this out in this community?
So the question if I can give some detail to it, you know, can you give us some sense of the cost involved with this, and presumably 6-day-a-week pickup will have some percentage increase on the cost?
Yeah, I believe that I don't want to say the wrong number. I will come back and get you the exact number of the budget, but it is something that was incorporated with the budget that was passed and announced by the city council and the mayor.
All right, and then, you know, the study, the 95-page study, did that include an environmental component?
Yes, that has an environmental component, but any issues like that we can also address at another time.
All
Barry,
right.
can they, I will look at that study, and if they can please come to our committee so we can review it with them.
Yep, I think we're gonna either have this run through UST or, at least for the summer, do an intensive task force that's gonna meet to coordinate this. But we can follow up, Edwin. Mr. Grennan, I think if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes, hi, thanks. And thanks for your patience with all our questions. Comments from the Sanitation Commissioner quoted in the Streets blog NYC indicates that the pilot originally on 45th Street didn't work so well. Trash was placed next to the receptacles, even when they weren't full, and it was actually more labor intensive than the existing process. So I was wondering how this differs from that, and in that, I want to ask a couple of sub questions. So, or mention a couple of relevant points. So, we're also resident on 142nd Street and echo the concerns that several of our neighbours already mentioned. But the issue, at least from our perspective, seems to be the larger buildings and those on 142nd Street, on the corners of 142nd Street, and on Broadway and Riverside. but our neighbor actually reported that DSNY was out measuring right in front of her brownstone for the placement of these receptacles. So that's a concern. And I guess it's a concern because I'm wondering who's responsible in case trash is placed next to the receptacles, right? Because it seems like these shared receptacles are just setting up a situation where nobody is really responsible for keeping them clean.
I mean, DSNY, we're responsible for keeping them clean. That's why we're going to be out there 6 days a week to make sure that they're collected as much as possible. And what was the earlier question?
Look, if perchance somebody decides to leave the garbage by these containers and men show up, we'll pick it up. It doesn't really matter who left it there. Once we see it, we are going to pick it up. So that's just the bottom line,
I think one of the reasons the residents of 142nd are concerned is like essentially you're pooling all the trash in front of the homeowners who have the misfortune of having these receptacles placed in front of their house. Like it really, if you're thinking about placement, it should be very likely placed in front of the large apartment buildings that produce 90% of the trash. But there doesn't seem to be any really input from residents about where they will be placed.
Yeah, nothing's been decided yet. We will definitely take that feedback to the team now. But in terms of what made the other pilot not work, a lot of that was the size of the containers, the idea that they were locked, the idea that you needed special access. There was a lot more. There's a lot more requirements in order to be able to use it. There wasn't as frequent pickup, so we learned a lot from that pilot. So that's what we're trying to do while we take those lessons and implement them here. And then again, we'll continue learning throughout this months-long process.
So that will be the end of this presentation and discussion. I would like to thank Assistant Commissioners Ocotiero and Vizur and Chief Mariscal, as well as our council member Sean Abreu for this discussion. I am going to ask, though, that before you leave, you give us the name and contact person here at the office of one person that will be responsible for attending these coordinating meetings with us, and we'll get someone from the DOT and drag them by the ear if we have to. And everyone who is here who has thoughts and opinions on this and wants to see it done right or measured right or assessed correctly, please make sure you have left your contact information with our staff, and you will be invited to those meetings so that you can participate on a very granular level about where these will be placed, what streets will participate, what considerations are needed, how close, all of those details that do not get worked out in a general board meeting, but rather in a committee formed specially to do so. But thank you very much again. And we will hold you to that. Thank you, council member. We
wanted some spirited debate tonight. I want to thank the chairs, Victor, who's going to be the chair, very likely, and of course to Youtha. Really, our office is accessible. We want to work with you guys here, and we're going to make sure that DSNY continues to show up, so that as these plans get rolled out, y'all are informed. If you don't want it on your block, this is important information for DSNY to take back. Again, it's a pilot program, 10 residential blocks. You may only see 3 of them around this neighborhood, because remember, Morningside Heights is also part of it. I don't know the number. I'm just throwing that out there. I want to thank again the chair. Youtha reached out to me a month ago and said, we want to meet with DSNY, and I said, let's make it happen. And here we are. So let's continue the dialogue. I certainly will continue the dialogue with
Do
all
you
of you.
want to give your elected official update in person now for the sake of?
Yes.
Yes.
So we are in the thick of it right now when it comes to budget. We are fighting to make sure we get $195 million for legal services funding. Right now, we know that we got $40 million from the state for public defenders. So the $125 million actually goes down to $85 million needed for public defenders. And now we're asking for $110 million for right to counsel, which adds up to $195. Where are we gonna be? We don't know. But the council has made the priorities known to the mayor's office that right to counsel is very important. I was a former tenant lawyer in this neighborhood representing families like my own who were evicted. And now we're fighting very hard to make sure that we can expand legal services here in this neighborhood. That's honestly everybody is fighting for a lot of different things. It's personally my fight. The council speaker is, relying on me here on making sure what's our walkaway point, and we're working with advocates on that. But regardless of what we come up with this year, and we know is going to be a significant sum, it's only going to be a tiny fraction of what we need for the overall $351 million that we need for nonprofits to be able to take cases. There are 25,000 individuals who are going through housing court right now without legal representation, despite the fact that they're entitled to one. I also know that 1727 is a huge topic of interest for the community board, as it is for me. We are working very aggressively with the administration right now. I've been in touch with Signe, the housing chair, who I'm sure has been communicating to the chairs and to the leadership here. We're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure we get the project that this neighborhood deserves. And even if it means that we have to walk away, we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that we get the project that we want. So, we're gonna fight tooth and nail. We have a vote in the council, and we won't exercise that vote until we get everything that we need. Thank you all. Have a good summer. I know y'all are going on break soon, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the council member? You could also just grab him if he's got a second on the sidelines.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment for him before he leaves.
Pat, can we make it real quick?
I will. Councilman, it's good to see you. Thanks for helping to bring desk on the sanitation here. I just wanted to thank you for your support and sponsorship of the legislation that prohibits discrimination on the basis of a person's height or weight in employment, housing, and public accommodations. Thank you so much, Councilman.
You got it. We're all bright and beautiful, right?
All of us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Barry, could you please ask the council member who we can contact regarding that, the possibility of the street permits for parking?
So, Councilmember Abreu, before you leave, who in your office is the best person to talk about the residential parking permit bill that Councilmember De La Rosa has?
Jaleesa Quigley is my legislative director. Her email is jquigley, QUIGLEY @council.nyc.gov.
All right, there you have it, folks. So the next item on our agenda, thank you everybody for coming, and we're going to have you back plenty of times. All right, so the next item is the introduction of new members of the board. This is a very exciting one. No, we're going back to the agenda. We have an hour left before they start flicking the lights on us in this space. So we're going to keep it moving. So when I call your name as a new member, please say hello, tell us where you live and why you've joined the board, and then we're going to keep it moving to the next new member. I have the great April Adams first on my list.
Yay!
Woo!
Yay!
April, say hi.
Oh, I did. I said hello. Sorry, y'all missed it. Okay.
Okay, now.
All right. Why did you join CB9?
I joined CB9 because, well, I live right here in CB9, of course. I guess that's a requirement, but just living here, working with you all before I came on to CB9, before I got appointed, just seeing the passion that you all have for the community is why I joined. I want to make a difference. So thank you all for giving me that vehicle.
Thank you. Italy Antoine. Italy? I saw her. She was on the Zoom. All right, but I'm going to keep moving. Chris Berry. Miss Berry, where are you? All right, I don't see her. Sharon De La Cruz, I saw you. There you are.
Hi everyone. I'm Sharon De La Cruz. Great to be with you all. And I joined CB9 because, I'm originally from the Bronx and we go really hard in the Bronx, repping the Bronx, but I love this neighborhood. Just like super proud to be a part of it and just want to share what I can and also learn from all of you all. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Elizabeth Eastman. We have Elizabeth Eastman in person or on the Zoom? We do not. Okay, Michael Iglesias. Michael, stand up and give me, say hello and why you joined CB9.
Okay.
Please use the microphone.
Oh yeah, we need the mics back.
I'm like, sorry.
No, it's a sound setup thing.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Michael Iglesias, and I live on 121st. I wanted to join Community Board 9 because I wanted to bring some of the legal experience that I learned through my education now at Columbia Law School, as well as what I'm learning at the Attorney General's office, working with civil rights. So I'm enjoying this experience, but I want to also bring it to the community, which, to help better represent not only the students at Columbia, but also the area at wide.
Thank you, Mr. Iglesias. Thiago Kiel, who is right over there. Go ahead.
Hello. You all probably know my mom, Anita Chang. She's pretty much the reason she convinced me to join the board, and I'm just hoping to learn and help where I can. So
wonderful. And Thiago is one of our younger members on the board, still in high school. Dr. Clotilde Monguia.
Hi, my name is Clotilde. I work here on Convent Avenue. We run a small nonprofit where we provide social and health services to most African immigrants. And we do run an immigration services as well. We've been in existence for the past 20 years. We are accredited to the United Nations as well, where we promote a sustainable development goal. As of me, I'm a OBGYN, foreign trade, but not working in the United States. I serve as a public health expert here. I joined CB9 because I've been part of this community for 5 years. The COVID has found me here stranded like all of you. I have so much to share. And also I would like to bring my expertise, and I would like to learn from you to even help others who don't have the voice to express themselves.
Thank you, Dr. Mongoya. So good to have you. Juaniro Sovalle. We have Juaniros here. I do not see her in the Zoom or in person. We will go to Amir Sadehi.
Hi, it's nice to be here. Should I stand? I live in Morningside Heights, very proudly and happily live in Morningside Heights. I joined this community board because I work at the national and state level fighting for the rights of marginalized communities against criminalization and state violence. And I'm really, really excited to bring that expertise and energy and passion to the Uniformed Services Committee and to the community board at large. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. Clayton Sanford next.
Hey everyone, I'm Clayton. I live a block over that way in Columbia Housing, and I'm joining the community board because I want to stay here after I graduate, and I want to help make sure that there's great public transit and great affordable housing here. So thank you for having me, and I'm excited to get to know you all and get involved.
Welcome, thank you. And someone who is no stranger to CB9, the Honorable Miss Francina Waring. Stand up, wave, and introduce yourself.
Oh, God.
I don't think I need it.
Oh, no, you do for the people on Zoom.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am bred and born right down here in Grant on LaSalle Street, and I just moved uptown to 135th Street. So, of course, my interest is right here on the ground. I have been involved with the youth in this community for over 60 years. And most recently, after retirement, I have joined and created a senior committee at 3333. So of course, I want to know where the wheels are, and therefore I am here.
Well, we're very lucky to have you. Thank you for joining us. And you were also a public member for 20 years of the Youth Education Libraries Committee, so it's good to have you back. Oh, yeah. And finally, Ms. Elisa Yu.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alyssa Yu. I'm a longtime resident, not too long, more than 20 years in the neighborhood. I'm a graduate at the Columbia University. I've actually been working in the district, Community School District 6 and Community School District 5, so I know the community very well. And also, I'm a registered parliamentarian, so I know parliamentary procedure. I would say follow the agenda. I'll call for the orders of the day. So back to you.
Thank you. Yes, we try. So welcome, everyone. Victor Edwards and I have been reviewing the committee preferences you indicated in your application. Some of you also emailed us directly to express new ones or changed ones. We will hopefully have your committee assignments done by the end of the month. We will also be having a new board member orientation at a certain point. Youth will be reaching out to you for that. And I would also just like to say that we do have standing committees that cover very specific ground. However, we try to cap the membership at 9 because otherwise it gets harder to achieve quorum. And so bear with us while we kind of do the Tetris and get everyone assigned to committees as fast as possible. But welcome to the board, and we're very happy to have you here. And with that, I will jump right into my chair's report under reports. This is my last chair's report.
One second, Barry, can you promote, can you all promote Elizabeth Eastman?
Oh, yes. Ms. Eastman, we'll hold off my report. If you accept the promotion to panelist, we would love to hear from you. You got her? Okay. You missing anyone else?
Barry,
Yes, Signe.
it's Signe here. Can I just make a quick cry for folks to vote or figure it out if they're going to vote in
We have paper ballots for in-person, Signe. Are we doing that?
We can if you need to. I could do that through Elections Buddy, but I need to make sure I extend the online elections if we choose to do that to give people time to do that or find a time in this.
Let's do that. Let's do that because we do have paper ballots.
It is super easy, guys.
Yeah, if Ms. Eastman
If you can get on your phone, please do.
I think I see Juanitos also. If you can accept the promotion to panelist, we're trying to promote you as panelist on Zoom so you can speak.
If people can get on their phones to vote, that would be amazing to help us out here because the paper ballots may take a little more time to process. And I'll have to shift a little bit to do that.
All right, Laquita.
Laquita's in the back.
I know. Now I realize. I thought you were asking about the trash, the waste.
No, ma'am. No, sir.
All of our candidates are present as they must be, so you should know that. So that's a good thing. Our committee is here as well, at least a couple of them. Tina Lumley back there, Annette Robinson back there. If there are any questions, just come back. But very quickly, Signe sent out the ballots at 7 p.m. Please vote. I guess our timetable has changed a little bit, but it's a reminder now. We want to have all the ballots in by 8:30. You will see CB9 Manhattan election. I believe that's the subject. You'll see CB9 Manhattan election.
And to clarify, everyone is running unopposed, although you can write in a candidate. But it turns out that officers get paid 10 times what you make as a regular community board member. So even with that, we had trouble
Barry, you
recruiting
really
people.
are out the door. I
You're
will say
on a roll tonight, Barry. But so you have two choices with each office. You have the person who was nominated, spoke at candidates night, had all of the endorsements as required by our bylaws, and then you have a choice to abstain. That's with each office. When you open up,
There is
you'll
no
see.
write-in, unfortunately.
Well, all right.
Yeah, there's no right. So that's it. And I'll just do a reminder at about, well, I don't know, is it 8:15? We'll just do a reminder, vote something very quick, just by computer. Now, who needs a paper ballot? Okay, let me give this back to Madison.
And please do it online if you can. It will make life a little easier.
Oh,
If you have a smartphone.
She'd rather you do it online.
okay. All right, so while people vote online, if they can, if they cannot, please get a ballot from Laquita. But anywho,
Elizabeth is on.
oh, Elizabeth Eastman, please introduce yourself briefly. Elizabeth Eastman?
Unmute yourself, Elizabeth.
And do we have Juaniros on as well?
I don't see him. Oh, yes, he is.
I think she is, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Juaniros? Are you on? Can you unmute?
Hi, can I introduce myself to the chat because there's a lot of background noise right now?
Yes, sure. And do we have Miss Eastman on? All right, I don't think we have Miss Eastman on. So I am going to vote very quickly and then give my chair's report. But this is a bittersweet meeting for me. It is my last community board meeting that I am chairing as general board. As many of you know, my term ends at the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. So I will say it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to serve this board for 4 years. It was not the 4 years I thought I was signing up for. It probably never is, but a generation-defining pandemic certainly throws a couple of wrenches or a whole Home Depot's worth of wrenches into stuff. And we got a lot done.
I'm giving a standing ovation virtually, Barry.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Zigny. We moved offices. We had almost our entire staff turnover, including losing 2 members with combined 40 years experience and hiring 2 new fantastic staff members. We were the first community board to hold a virtual general board meeting, and we were the first community board to hold a hybrid one. And we did all of this without, having any trains go off the rails or turn off the lights, although we did have some meetings go very long. But this is a board that makes a difference. This is a board that brought $15 million worth of restaurant relief funding to this neighborhood. This is a board that improves projects and gets housing built. This is a board that is doing the first community board-led rezoning of a neighborhood in the city's history. And this is a board that treats each other with collegiality, with professionalism, with respect, and mostly with love, honestly. And so it is an honor to be on this board. Being on this board has changed my life. Being chair of this board has changed my life. But none of this is possible without every member of this board, every former member of this board, every community member who's shown up to one of these meetings and been involved. And of course, to our staff, including Ray McLaughlin and Ms. Elzifi Zita, who have both left us, and also to Madison Ayala and to Keel Elliston, who have now joined us. We all owe you a great deal of thanks. And of course, none of this would be possible without our incomparable district manager, Yutha Prince, who has got to be the greatest district manager in the city. Woohoo! I also want to take a moment to just recognize that we have also lost some board members recently. We lost Walter South at the very beginning of the pandemic. And of course, we lost April Tyler during the pandemic, who was our treasurer of the board and really one of the best committee co-chairs we could have ever asked for in terms of chairing.
We love you, Barry.
Yes, we do.
In terms
Barry,
of
I'm here
chairing
with you.
our Housing, Zoning, and Land Use Committee.
April. Yep.
I love
And
you.
making an enormous difference in this community. So I am very happy to pass along the torch to Victor tonight. I know we are in good hands with his leadership, but it has been a pleasure and an honor, like I said, and just thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you. It has been a pleasure.
And for the more substantive parts of my report, I will refer you to the packet. Next up, we have our treasurer's report from Carolyn Thompson.
Barry, good evening all.
Good evening.
There are no changes to the treasurer's report. Anything you want to add, Yuka?
Go ahead. I don't have anything to add other than this is the budget season. We will be having our budget consultations in the fall. Budget submissions are now being allowed earlier. In June, they have been accepting them. I have asked the committee chairs to discuss their budget requests amongst their committee members. So other than that, and also we are working with the chair and the treasurer and the incoming treasurer regarding depleting our budget lines. Our budget ends on July 30th and we are not turning any money back to the city. The money will be used within our community for much needed equipment, services. So we've had meetings with the various treasurer, district manager, first vice chair, and the chair of the board. And if you have any questions about what transpired in the meeting, please contact me at the board office. But I'd like to wish everyone a great summer and we look forward to working with you in September. I guess I'm rolling into my district manager's report because I'm immediately following Carolyn Thompson, the treasurer. I'm lost for words right now. I can't tell you how much of a pleasure it's been to work with Barry Weinberg as chair of CB9. When you talk about someone who is diligent and really put their heart into this community, I can attest to it because we have worked side by side on many issues over the phone late at night, early in the morning. And he came, like he said, into his position at the start of the COVID quarantine. So you could imagine, we didn't know what we were up against. I was, Barry can describe how I was, and he calmed me down. He and my daughter, for a fact. Zoom, I didn't know what Zoom was. What are we gonna do? Yutha, calm down, we will get it done. And that's just what we did. So I'm lost for words, but I am glad. Barry isn't going anywhere. He will be the first vice chair, and he will be working very closely with Victor, Monique, and myself. So the team will continue. And I just can't state enough how much it's been a pleasure working with you as well.
I follow that. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you, Yutha. Next, we'll go to Pat Watler-Johnson for a report from the West Harlem Development Corporation. For those who don't know, the West Harlem Development Corporation was formed as part of the Manhattanville eminent domain and rezoning that led to the creation of this building and several others. It administers a good chunk of the community benefits agreement with Columbia.
Okay, thank you, Barry. I'd also like to acknowledge, now I am one of the representatives, but the other representative is the Reverend Georgette Morgan Thomas. I'd like to acknowledge her as well. Good evening, everyone. To be brief, there are, the community benefit grants. There was information at the last meeting. It's on the website. The application deadline is June 23rd at 5 o'clock. So if there's anybody that needs information about that, feel free to go to the WHDC website, which is www.westharlemdc.org, and look for the information about the community benefit grants. There was a youth fair yesterday at the forum. I believe we where you all are at now, that was sponsored by WHTC, Future Giants, and the New York City Department of Youth and Community Development. There was a youth fair that took place yesterday. I understand the attendance was pretty well, and it's a success. So congratulations on that. On June 21st, Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, there's going to be the HDFC Resource Center is hosting a community forum for West Harlem HDFC shareholders and board members. And it'll be held also at the forum, and it'll include a panel of experts that will be speaking on various topics. The in-person attendance is for CB9 building shareholders only, and you have to RSVP through Eventbrite. The community forum is going to be live streamed. Oh my God, live streamed. But if you can't attend, it will be on the WHDC YouTube channel after June 22nd, so you can look at it there. The Uptown Night Market is going on. It was supposed to be last week. It was canceled because of the air quality issue, and it's being held tonight. So if anybody's not there, then we know where they are. I'm at home, but I'm not there. But anyway, I just would like to say, before I say wish everyone well, I do want to congratulate all of the newly elected officers and wish you the best of success in your leadership as you go on for these next years. Barry, thank you for your service. And of course, you'll be there too. So I'm sure we all wish you well. To everyone, have a great day. Have a wonderful summer, and I look forward to seeing you in the fall. Are there any questions regarding this report?
Questions for Pat regarding the West Harlem Development Corporation report. Pat is one of the 2 directors on the board nominated by Community Board 9. All right. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Reverend Morgan Thomas, who is our other director and also serves as our representative for the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone Board, is excused due to a family emergency. So we will move to Ken Miles' report from the 125th Street Business Improvement District.
Hey, everyone. And Barry, congratulations on your tenure. And thank you for just your service and care and love for the community and all the special folks that we've had an opportunity to serve alongside over these years. It's been an honor. Wanted to acknowledge that as it relates to the 125th Street bid, earlier this week, CB10 apparently received legal notification from the licensee of the 125th Street cannabis location. And in doing so, that's technically the kind of legal sequencing. There's 30 days in which they can make a recommendation. The recommendation can either be yes, in support of, no, not in support of, or kind of no vote, to not vote. Either way, the reality is that the state doesn't necessarily have to take the recommendation. So in communication with Barbara, that's something that is being noted, that it's somewhat advisory, but the state may respond or may not, but there's a 30-day sequence which goes into effect legally within, and since it's in CB10, the confines of CB10, that's who that goes in front of. In terms of the case itself, the case has begun, and so it kind of is moving along in the court system. And regardless of outcome, there's just greater awareness over how this process is rolling out, because what's happening is a bit of foreshadowing for what's to come. And so there's a lot of attention being paid to just greater awareness of how this process is rolling out, and some of the hurdles, quite honestly, that have been noted. I think just as it relates to the conversation on the 125th Street proposed dispensary location, there's also an interesting article that came out in the city.nyc on a member of the state's Cannabis Control Board who has made plans to step down from the board this week, Ruben McDaniel. And so stating that for folks who are kind of curious to look into what's happening there, because this individual is resigning from the board that regulates and improves licenses for the program, according to the city article. Yeah, that's kind of where that process is. Kind of the courts will play out as they play out, and as updates become available, we'll definitely relay those back to the board. Separately and apart, want to acknowledge Harlem Holiday Lights planning is in effect. It's actually the 30th anniversary of the Holiday Lights. And this year they've got Apollo on as a partner, celebrating their 90th anniversary. Mount Morris Park is celebrating 45 years. There's a desire to kind of talk about just the legacy institutions in the community and what this upcoming Holiday Lights means. And the theme of this Holiday Lights will be celebrating our youth. So wanted to just relay that message, and yeah, we'll see how that planning goes, and we'll make sure to let the community know as it rolls out accordingly. But that's the report.
Thank you, Ken. Any questions for Ken Miles? Okay. Tiffany, you have a question for Ken Miles, 125th Street bid?
Sorry, I had a question for Pat, but that no one saw it, but it's fine. It's fine. I put it in the text,
Okay, thank you.
in the chat, I mean.
Yeah, Tiffany, I responded to you.
Thank you, Pat.
Great.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you, Ken, for the report. We'll now turn to the Borough President's report. I know Mina is here. I was about to say April Adams is here, but Mina is here. And I don't know if we have the Borough President himself tonight or anyone else, but Mina, are you giving the report?
Hi, Barry. Yes, I'll be giving the report. So I guess we'll just start there. Congratulations and welcome new board members. One being my predecessor, April Adams, coming out of the Borough President's office previously, and now a Computer 9 board member. Barry, I would just like to say huge thank you and congratulations to your tenure as chair of Community Board 9. This board and under your leadership truly fights for those who are vulnerable. So when we're talking about HDFCs, TIL residents, and you all really do take those issues to task, and how you all can definitely be advocates as a board. And so you all, and of course, fiercely defending the diversity of that makes up West Harlem, that makes up Morningside Heights, Hamilton Heights, particularly with the Morningside Heights Historic District that you all have been so hands-on with, that you have particularly been so hands-on with, Barry. So thank you for your leadership. And I know we are definitely in great hands with Victor Edwards, soon to be onboarding as chair. So thank you again, Barry and Victor, looking forward to your chairmanship. And so I will go into my report. One, I did report on this briefly last week, but again, the rent guidelines board did not come up with a Manhattan site, an in-person Manhattan site. They only offered a virtual hearing for the increases for rent stabilized apartments. As I stated last month, the borough president, in addition to all Manhattan council members, did sign a joint letter requesting sites to be provided in Manhattan. That did not happen. However, the borough president did testify at the virtual hearing 2 days ago. So we are looking to see what that final vote will be later on this month. Two, I would just like to say, I'm sorry, I'm missing my notes. But one, of course, I'm sorry, happy Pride, and also is Juneteenth weekend. This is the 30th anniversary of Juneteenth happening in Harlem. It's primarily in Central Harlem, but Harlem as a whole, I know will be celebrating all weekend. So happy Juneteenth, happy Pride, and that will be happening on June 25th, the big Pride Parade. And so if any of you are looking forward to walking with our office during the Pride Parade, please let me know. I'll put my information in the chat. And we are also very excited to see kind of those bins come into the neighborhood, but hopefully we're looking forward to DSNY taking the community's feedback. And please, for those of you who are both virtually attending and also in person attending, please make sure you're attending committee meetings, and so that you are giving as much detail to DSNY on where we want those placements. And I would also just like to say our office has really been, for our president particularly, has really been interested on artificial intelligence. Last week, Community Board 10 also hosted an AI conference. And so we're really, I think it's especially important for the community boards to also weigh in on this issue. And to also make sure that nobody's left behind as we're coming to a new age of technology. And so we actually do have a link where we do want to know kind of your thoughts on how AI should be influencing, government, local elections, our schools, our economy. So I'll put that link in the chat. This information is also all available on our website. And also, we are also looking forward to you all passing the carbon neutrality resolution this evening. We know there are a lot of definite concerns that were brought up during Borough Board this morning, and just questions and more clarity. So thank you for, making those poignant points and making those recommendations to DCP. And just finally, I do just want to emphasize for the new board members who are onboarding, we do have our first meeting tomorrow. So please make sure that you're there. And it's tomorrow, 1. If you're unable to attend that meeting, you can feel free to also sign up through the links that I will also put on the chat. So that is the 23rd and also the 22nd. So looking forward to your onboarding. Welcome new members. I'm hoping to meet you all in person at some point. And I hope you all will also be moseying on down to the festival happening. So thank you all for the report. And thank you for the time. My information will also be in the chat to share out.
Thank you, Mina. Thank you for the report and thank you for the wishes. I cannot believe I forgot to wish everyone a happy Pride and a happy Juneteenth. And I was also reminded that early voting starts this weekend. So not a ton on the ballot necessarily in West Harlem, but if you live on the eastern edges of the district, we do have a contested, I should say, council race there. So please vote every year, vote as often as you are legally allowed to do so. It's very important. We will now go into public session. I will turn the mic over to Victor. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped right over the Elections Committee report. Go ahead, Laquita.
Well, I think the report is elections. Who's present and who is not?
I'm going to go through real fast and I'm going to tell you who's present. April
That would be
Adams is
great.
present. Joyce Adewumi is present. Walter Alexander is present. Italy Antoine is present. Jane Arundel is present. Mary Mercy Ferrer is present. Chris Berry, are you here? Going once, going twice, not present. Reverend Patricia Caldwell, you're here. Dan Cohen, you're not here, are you? Going once, going twice.
He voted, so I want to make sure, is he here online or in person? 'Cause
Dan,
if he
you
is-
here?
If he's,
I'm not.
if not, his vote will be spoiled, so I just want to make
All
sure.
right, Dan, if you're actually here, please give Signy a call. Juan Colmenares is here. Carlton Davis is here. Sharon Dela Cruz is here. Marita Dunn is here. Elizabeth Eastman, I think, is here.
I need just sorry, I just need a little more time. Carlton Davis is there in person or virtually? I need
In
to know.
person.
Okay, I need his vote. I don't see it yet.
All right, well, we can get a paper ballot if we need. Marita Dunn.
Sharon De La Cruz, daughter, Elizabeth Eastman is virtual. I don't see a vote yet.
Marita Dunn, you voted, right? All right, Ms. Dunn voted. Elizabeth Eastman, I think is, oh, she's unmuted now. Ms. Eastman.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm on Zoom. I'm here.
Great. Okay.
We need her vote.
So yes, if you check your email, there's a virtual voting code so that you can vote in these elections. Yes, we are very modern. We came up with this during the pandemic. All credit goes to Signe Mortensen.
Thank you.
Victor Edwards is here in person. Sean Farrow, are you here? No. Lydia Garrison is here in person.
I've got it.
Daria Hardiman is virtually present.
I've got everyone up to Theodore Kovalev for the vote, but he's virtual.
Ted, can you check your email?
You need help.
I have looked and I just see code for signing into Zoom. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Nope. Ted, can you give me a call offline? As soon as I get this bit done, can you call me?
Signe, give me your number and I will be happy to.
206-919.
206-919.
5899. Y'all can call me now. 5899.
5899. And you know what's going to happen. I'm going to get lost on the rest of the meeting unless I can get back. But anyway, I will call.
Put us on hold,
Got
Ted.
that, Barry. Tina is doing paper. John Martin Green.
John Martin's excused. Deirdre McIntosh Brown is virtual.
I've got everyone up to Georgette.
Okay, you got everyone up to Georgette. She's excused.
Okay.
I don't know
Myself.
about, yep. Juanito Sovalle is
Juanito.
here virtually.
Okay. Haven't seen a
Solomon
vote
is
yet.
in person.
Okay. Got it. Carolina, I have question mark.
I think she's here virtually, right? Yeah, no?
Present virtually, Carolina Ramirez.
Maybe she dropped off. Okay, maybe
don't
not.
see her.
Patricia Ramos is here virtually. Annette
Mhm.
Robinson's
Got
in
it.
person. Amir is in person.
I've got it up to Jonathan Synagogue.
Jonathan Sinagub has resigned from the board.
Resigned. Okay. Got it. And then Hugo Torres is the last one that I do not have.
Not present in person. Hugo, are you here virtually? Nope.
Okay, that is super helpful, everyone. Please, if you haven't voted, get in there, vote, make your voice heard. Thank you.
Great. Juan, did you have a question for Mina? Can we get my Juan a mic? Or Juan, you can come up to the, great.
Hello. Oh, it works. Hi, are you there?
Mina, are you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. I'm very upset about losing Tiffany, and I want to ask the board president to come and talk to us and take a few questions about what are the logistics and what is the criteria to choose people to be removed from the committee, because some of us are very outspoken, and I wonder if that is going to be my fate.
Thank you, Juan,
Thank
for
you.
the question. Oh, okay. Thank you, Juan, for the question. So, I mean, we don't really discuss, kind of every reason as to why board members have not been reappointed to the board or have been appointed to the board. And I'm not saying this is the case, but I mean, sometimes there are internal issues just in general that I'm just saying in general, as we're appointing, there are internal issues that perhaps other board members are not privy to, that we kind of don't want to just publicly say to everyone. So that's kind of, we're also just protecting the integrity of just that individual, et cetera, and everyone's kind of personal issue. But I will also say that it is yes, the borough president does the appointments. We also do this in conjunction with council members. So as some of you board members may know, or as you all are aware, that some folks are on the borough president's roster and some are on your council members roster. And so we also we work, those things are just discussed, and we don't really discuss the internal kind of
Thank you,
decisions
Mina.
of that, but this is an effort.
We appreciate the answer. But now I will turn the mic over to Victor Edwards for public session.
Yes, good evening all once again. We're about to enter public session. I want to remind you, public session for each individual is limited to 3 minutes, 3 minutes only. We have a short time to finish the meeting, so let's be prudent with our time. First person to speak is Alicia Ruiz, Director of Community Relations and Engagement. Are you on? Matter of fact, still. Okay. Okay, moving on. Next person is Mr. Brad Taylor. Brad is here in person. Brad, come on down. Three minutes, Brad.
Yes, it's not going to take 3 minutes, but okay. I didn't know I was going to be here on this historic night, so I just wanted to say, Barry, I knew you when you were a babe, and here you are, finishing up 4 years. So congratulations on a job really well done. You know, I always told you, even at that point, I would support you for anything you wanted to do, and it's still that way. Victor, you're a great friend, and congratulations. So my name is Brad Taylor. I was on the board for 10 years. And once you guys have been on the board for 10 years, we'll have a big party, okay? And I see Marita here. She's been here longer than I have. So many friends here. But I'm here to talk about Morningside Park. I'm the president of the Friends of Morningside Park. And we have this pond and waterfall. You may know it. It's a beautiful feature of the park, but it's full of algae. The waterfall has not worked in 5 years. So I'm working with the park committee. Heather's been great, and we're working on a resolution. Obviously, it's not going to get done now. We're going on a summer hiatus, but I just wanted to put that out there, that this is an issue that's really important to the Morningside Park community. We actually have an online petition that's already had 750 signatures on it. So we are hoping that we will get funding, and perhaps Columbia will put in some money, since that pond, I don't know if you know this, but it's in the crater of the gymnasium that they wanted to build. So they had started construction on that site, and it was halted by community protests. And we need a marker on that spot to commemorate those people and those protests. So that's something that is part of the resolution we're working on, and I look forward to working with you all on that.
Thank you, Brad. Next speaker listed here is, I just have a first name, Sherelle. Sherelle, are you here in person or on Zoom? You're on Zoom, can you raise your hand so we can identify you?
What's the name? Sherelle.
Moving on, we have organization called KOTA, K-O-T-A. There was a representative earlier. Are you still here?
Yes, hi, I'm here.
There you go. Yes.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. This is Jana Renstrom from the KOTA Alliance, yes. Thank you so much for having me here. Do I have 3 minutes? Is that right?
Yes, you do.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, first time, well, actually not the first time here, but first time speaking. So my name is Jana Renström. The Kota Alliance is located at 43 St. Nicholas Place. So that's at 152nd Street. And we've been there for a year. We are a nonprofit for gender equality and women's empowerment. We were founded in 2015, but initially we were down in Chelsea. So focusing on what's needed for women's empowerment, we focus on economic empowerment. And we started out with programs upskilling women in digital and financial literacy and women entrepreneurship. And now we're adding another element, which is of critical importance, which is health and wellness. We also want our building, which we call Kota Nest, to be a hub for women and women-focused nonprofits from the area and as well as globally. And we're looking for collaborators, other organizations that have, that are mission aligned, that exist in the area. And we would love referrals to any such organizations. As a heads up, we're planning a listening session, kind of panel discussion for such organizations in September. So if you know of any, or if you're involved in any, please contact us. I'll put my information in the chat. And we have 3 things that I want to advertise really quickly. One is Latino Film Market is going on this Saturday at Kota Nest. It's showcasing films from various Latin American countries. That's from 12 noon to 10 p.m. organized by filmmaker Arilyn Martinez. And then in July, Arilyn Martinez is running a program for teen girls that is 16 and over, who are invited to a bilingual digital storytelling class 3 mornings a week. And they will learn to produce videos using their cell phones. And the topic is going to be one on reproductive health. I myself a retired OBGYN, and I will be a resource for the course. And then we have a call for female artists from West Harlem to submit their work for an exhibit called Faces of Justice, which is going to happen in October. The deadline for those submissions is July 15th. And that's going to happen in October, and the artists will get a $250 stipend. But it is a curated process, so somebody will, choose the artists. So information about all this is available on our website. I'll put that in the chat as well, kotaalliance.org.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Yeah, thank you very
so
much.
much. Can you put the information in the chat?
Yeah.
And we'll distribute it as well. Thank you so much for that great information. Next speaker is Nicole Becker, Every Voice Chorus.
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for having me, and I'll be really quick. We have programs for, we're Every Voice Choirs. We're based, we started at Teachers College. Now we have programs at Riverside Church and at Grant Houses. And I wanted to share about our newest programs. So we have something for everyone, ages 7 to 17, for all kids who like to sing. Most of our choirs have no audition. Everybody's welcome, but all of the kids perform in exciting venues like Merkin Hall and Miller Theater, and around the city and in community events, including here today. So we have a kids choir and a youth choir. So sorry, I'm already 3 ahead. Thank you, Courtney. I didn't see you had it going. Thank you. And I have a clicker up. So our new program, this is Voiceability for kids with special needs. It's led by a bilingual speech language pathologist and music therapist. They meet at Teachers College on Saturday. We have a program for younger kids and one for older kids. There are about 12 together. There's a lot of support from other graduate students in speech language pathology and in music education. So they're supported and they're beautiful. They had their first performance this spring. And this is also a new choir that started with Sean Abreu's support this spring. It's based at Grant Cornerstone in the community center there, which is shared with the Jackie Robinson Senior Center. It is led by Carmen Keels, a longtime resident of West Harlem, with Mabel Morales. And they just also had their first performance. So it's for children with their trusted adults, so family members, other trusted adults. We had some older siblings and lovely intergenerational community singing. So everybody's welcome to that, and we'd love to continue to grow that next year. These are some of our community performances. We've been performing at Socorro Park and here at the Forum in December for the holidays. We'll be back next December. Love to see everybody. So we put all of the choirs together. So our kids, from young kids to older kids, and now our intergenerational groups also join in our community performances. Other big performances of Merkin Hall, and we just performed at Teachers College. And then we have one choir which has auditions. That's our concert choir. They just did a premiere of Derek Sky's work in November. They performed at Carnegie Hall, a piece by Bach in December, and then this premiere of another of Derek Sky's work at Carnegie Hall. So they were there twice this year. And they'll be back at Carnegie Hall next December with a world premiere that's being written for commemorating the 100th anniversary of the Declaration of Human Rights at the United Nations. So it's going to be an exciting concert, and we're auditioning kids now for that. So that's the only group that has an audition for kids ages 11 to 15. So we'd love to have more West Harlem residents. We keep getting more residents from a little bit further east and a little bit further north, and we'd love to have more from right here because we live right here and we want to serve this region, and we receive funding from WHDC, and it's for residents of West Harlem. So we have scholarships for people who live here. So thanks very much for spreading the word.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Walter Biggs.
Hey, good evening, neighbors and members of the committee. So I'm a 25-year resident of West 142nd Street, and I am coming here this evening to express. I'm coming here to express both concern and general objection on the part of my neighbors, which I will couch with the aside that. The program that's been suggested by the Department of Sanitation to roll out these dumpsters in our neighborhood, while not meant in any harmful way to the historic fabric of the neighborhood, inadvertently will potentially harm and assault the historical fabric of our neighborhood in a sort of an irreparable way. Now, one of the great pleasures that I have living where I do, and I know that many, if not all of my neighbors feel similarly, is coming and going from our neighborhood, and even just the approach of walking onto our block, one which our neighbors who own private homes and our neighbors who live in rental apartments. I think everybody appreciates the integrity aesthetically, architecturally of our block. It's a remarkable block, and it's not unique. I mean, there are many blocks within the West Harlem Historic District which are special and beautiful, and we have, as a community, worked for much of the 25 years that I've lived here to achieve some recognition of the historic nature of the neighborhood. And that recently was solidified by the West Harlem Historic District being designated by the National Register of Historic Places, which I will come to a conclusion in my remarks by saying it is seemingly insensitive on the part of the Department of Sanitation and possibly those other agencies that are considering how and where to place these dumpsters. I think it is a bit insensitive to think that some neighborhoods are more or less, prone to not caring about the placement of dumpsters than others. And neighborhoods that have really made a huge investment in preserving themselves, should be thoughtfully considered exempt or not, necessarily the neighborhood that should be pinpointed as being beleaguered with dumpsters in such an obvious and visually intrusive way.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
for your comments. Next speaker is Mr. Louis Bailey, WEAC. Still there, Louis?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, my computer camera is acting crazy, but I'll be really brief. We always recognize my name is Bailey. I'm the manager of membership and organizing. We always recognize our members in the month of July every year. So on July 15th, we're having a summer barbecue. All are welcome. You don't have to bring anything. It'll be from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on July 15th. If you want to register, you can. I'll just put that in the chat. Thank you so much, and congrats, Victor. Great going to still be working with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Louis. Appreciate it. And that concludes public session, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Victor. Let me turn off that timer. All right, so time check. It is 8:53. We are theoretically supposed to be out of here by 9. Bear with us. But next item in the public session, public hearing, are hearing from our other elected officials besides Councilmember Breu and the borough president, who've already gone. So who do we have here? I see a hand. Solomon Acevedo. I can't read the full description, but I assume he is a staff member. So I'm going to promote you to panelist. Are there any other representatives from elected officials hanging out? Oh, I see Sean Farrow.
I'm here
very good.
also, Barry.
And Miriam is here. Again, you were here earlier in person. Welcome, welcome. Miriam, go ahead and get us started while Solomon gets online.
Hello, everyone. Congrats to the new committee, or excuse me, the new members of Community Board 9. I also want to take the time to thank Barry for your leadership on behalf of the assembly member. Thank you for your leadership of CB9, and a huge, what is it called? Congrats, and also very looking forward to Victor's leadership. So very excited about that and continuing to work with the CB9 leadership. I have a few updates. I know that we run out of time usually around this time, so I'll try to make it quick. Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. Happy Juneteenth. We have signed on to a letter with the Attorney General's office that asks Target to reverse their decision on removing Pride Month or Pride-related merchandise. We do understand that a lot of people have launched very ignorant and harmful and hateful rhetoric against the LGBTQ community, but we do not agree that Target should succumb to those responses. And we do think that Target should instead amp up their security to protect their workers. But we don't think that removing Pride merchandise or Pride creators, Pride merchandise is the right way to do that. So we have signed on to the New York Attorney General's letter, and we hope that Target does something positive about that. We hosted a fishing event just this past month, and we thank everyone who was able to join us for that. We do hope to continue the series of cyber safety. So we will continue to promote those through our newsletters. And if you're not signed up, you should definitely call our office to sign up to our newsletters. The Riverside Park, Riverside Park has had a few street lamps that have been malfunctioning, and we are aware of that. This has run up from 72nd to 125th Street, not all, but a lot of street lamps. And we've been working on this issue for almost a month now, which is really unfortunate, but the DOT and Con Edison are working on restoring the street lamps along Riverside Drive and Riverside Park. The NISCA's application portal is officially open. So for any arts, cultural organizations who are seeking funding, you should definitely apply now. The application portal is open until July 13th, 4 p.m. So if you want additional information, give our office a call, but this application is open online and you can go on to the New York State website to apply. The Denny Borough Riverbank State Park is hosting their 30th anniversary celebration on Saturday, beginning 12 p.m. and extending all the way until the evening. They will have lots of fun activities for everyone, family friendly. So you should definitely go ahead and join that. Central Park is also hosting an adventure day. So there will be a ton of different activities like rock climbing, archery, paddleboarding, and more. This is also going to be Saturday, June 17th, and it's going to run from 11 to 4 p.m. You can enter at the 72nd Street entrance. That is all for me. As you probably heard, the assembly is going back into session. So we will see more of that next week. That is all. And again, congrats to everyone. And
Thank you, Marion. Thank you for keeping it short. If you can drop that link to the arts funding portal in the chat, I am sure we will be interested in sending it out. I want to also thank you for the J51 replacement bill that did somehow miraculously make it out of Albany. That was something we voted to support back in October of last year, so we were very happy to see it pass. But thank you, thank you. And we will move on to Solomon Acevedo from the Public Advocate's Office. Oh, Pat, do you have a question for Marion?
I do. Thank you, Barry. Hi, Marion. The last time you were here, you reported to us that after the legislative session, that a meeting will probably be scheduled for the 125th Street Elevator Lobby Committee. And I wanted to know, has that meeting been scheduled yet?
the meeting has not, we don't have a date, but we've already been in touch with MHCC to schedule that meeting with Columbia, with the elevator lobby. So the request has already been sent to Columbia University. We are waiting on their response. The MTA is also they have also been made aware of this, our intent to meet in June. So we're looking at a later date in June, but we definitely do want to host that elevator lobby update for everyone to. Well, we just want to make sure that Columbia and the MTA are making.
Yes.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you.
Marion.
Mhm.
Thank you, Pat. And we will make sure that the wires get connected and that we show up to that. Also, I just forgot to say thank you to Assemblymember O'Donnell for emceeing today's economic development event that the community board hosted. So the lights are being dimmed. So we will quickly move to Solomon Acevedo and then move into our action items. Solomon,
hey,
with alacrity, if you would.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for having me. My name is Solomon Acevedo. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the Deputy Public Advocate for Justice, Health, Equity, and Safety in the Office of the Public Advocate, serving with the Honorable Jumani D. Williams, who is, sends us out monthly to be able to connect with communities. And so I'm just want to share a couple of recent highlights and just thank everybody who's in solidarity with celebrating Pride Month, Immigrant Heritage Month, Caribbean Heritage Month, and of course Gun Violence Awareness Month. I just want to point you to an event that took place last month, State of the People speech in Town Hall. The Public Advocate recently held our annual State of the People conference. It's an opportunity to bring New Yorkers together across the city and across issue areas to discuss the most important things that we face as a city and how to address them in the city budget and beyond. And to close that one-week conference, the Public Advocate presented an address on the state of public safety during the speech that was televised in coordination with the town hall. And in it, he discusses how the people have a right to feel safe, to be safe, and yet the state of public safety is uncertain in New York at best. So he discussed what public safety is, what it isn't, and what's next. And you can watch this State of the People address at our website, which is, I will put in the chat in a second, advocate.nyc.gov. Legislatively, last month, folks might have heard that the New York City Council passed the Public Advocate's Worst Landlord Law to help prevent fraudulent repairs by bad landlords and increase accountability. This bill was part of the Worst Landlord Accountability Act, which is a two-bill package that comes out of the Public Advocate's annual Worst Landlord Watch List. And so together, this legislation in the Worst Landlord Accountability Act will help tenants get the repairs they need, make the worst landlords pay for the negligence and deception, and show that there are consequences for the conduct that puts landlords on the watch list. And so other than that, I want to just shout out some upcoming events. We have Pride Month going on, so feel free to join in and sign up for the various contingents that will be at across the city. Just want to bump Bronx Pride taking place this weekend and alert you to some events that took place that will take place in the future, following up with our tour on Rikers Island last week, folks are asking about this legislation about federal receivership. So feel free to look to our office to get clarity, get understanding, and create conversations around that. Also, the Public Advocate is on News 12, and every third Monday of the month from 7 to 8 p.m., the Public Advocate will be live to answer questions from callers on the air, so folks can be able to really get deep into the ways that we aim to hold the city accountable for all the ways in which it's designed to serve the people. So please stay in touch with our office. You can contact us at gethelp@advocate.nyc.gov, or you can call us at 212-669-7250 and leave a message. We are on a hybrid schedule in our office, trying to expand safety. COVID is not over yet, and we'll be receiving constituents by appointment. Although, if you're always in a state of emergency, feel free to walk in. And please sign up for our bi-monthly newsletter, which I'll put in the chat, that just keeps you in tune with all the things that are going on. And lastly, subscribe to the Advocate blog on advocate.nyc.gov. And there you'll hear from staff members firsthand around the things that we confront every day. Again, trying to hold our city accountable to the ways in which it operates. So thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you for everybody who's serving in the community and really making sure their voice is heard. Although it may seem meek to be serving in this position, is a mighty impact that it has in our city. So shout out to all the people who joined today. Welcome to the service. And shout out to this board chair, who clearly knows how to get it together and loves the people and has a vulnerable heart. So I'm grateful to be a part of this meeting, and just thank you all. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Mr. Acevedo. If you could also put the bill numbers for the Worst Landlord Accountability Act in the chat, I'm sure people would be very interested in reading them on Legistar. We love good legislation here. So with that, we will close out the elected officials report section of the public hearing, and we will move on to our action items.
Okay.
The first action item, how do I turn off remove pin? Okay. The first action item is, how do I make the gallery? The
1727.
Resolution regarding 1727 Amsterdam Avenue, which I have open here and I will share. It was also in your packet. However, there is a friendly amendment proposed. Where is that reso? Here we go. So, how do I share my screen now? So this is a long reso. That's why an email went out on Friday asking you to read the draft, and then another email went out asking you to read the updated draft on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it was. So this resolution is regarding the proposed redevelopment of the mental health and primary care clinic on 145th Street on the northeast corner, the Emma L. Bowen Community Services Center. It is operated by HHC, kind of, but it is city-owned property. Does anyone have any questions about the resolution as drafted? Please raise your hand if you do. I'm not seeing, there's a hand in the back. Yes, Mr. Darrell Miller. Wait, we gotta get your mic.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Darrell Miller, a lifetime community resident and also member of the 144th Street Block Association. I concur 1000% with this resolution from the Land Use Committee that has opposed this plan to construct a major apartment building on the northeast corner of West 145th Street, I should say.
Okay.
While demolishing, or plan to demolish the health center, the Uptown Mental Health Center at that location. I think it would be counterproductive. The plan involves channeling people at that location who would be housed at that apartment building who have mental challenges and drug problems. And at a time when they plan to demolish the mental health center, that in itself is counterproductive. You have more and more people at that location who have dire needs for services at a time they plan to diminish services. That certainly makes no sense. And I need to point out that that building was constructed in 1975 to alleviate problems at the 153rd Street Health Center. And that building is still very crowded. So eliminating this facility while bringing in more and more people who have health problems certainly is counterproductive and would be the worst case scenario. And I point out that our block association has really coordinated more than 20 pages of petitions from people who are around the community who oppose this project as well.
Okay, let's
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. So I am going to note that the friendly amendment was proposed by member Heather Jason, and it would go on page. There's too much Zoom stuff on my screen. What page is this? It would go after the whereas the West Harlem community has proposed an alternative plan, and it would be an additional whereas clause that says, whereas Manhattan Community Board 9 maintains that there is a large need for additional family-sized apartments of 2 bedrooms and up, and that an influx of studio apartments is not as beneficial to the community as a project with a larger number of family units. Heather, did I basically summarize that correctly?
Thank you.
All right. I would ask Signe and Liz if they would take that as a friendly amendment, and Laquita and Edwin. All right, great. It's a friendly amendment. It's in there.
Fine.
By unanimous consent.
All right.
Barry, hold on, Barry, before you go on, I just want to make sure that my friendly amendment is on there, and I'm scanning it to just make sure that that the entrance be on 145th Street instead of 146 or Amsterdam.
Right there on whatever page this is, because I can't see the page count.
Got it. Thank you.
It's actually in there twice. It's one whereas and one therefore. So basic summary here. For those who didn't read it, it seems like everybody read it, which is great. This is city-owned land. That must go through universal land use review process. There's a bunch of case law about this. It's in the city charter. We want more housing. We want a bigger development. That also requires going through ULURP. But if we have public-owned land and public funding, we should have as much affordable housing built there as possible, and it should be 100% affordable, which granted the original proposal was. So with that said, we want more housing on this site. Are there any other questions, because Member Thompson has moved for unanimous consent? Does she have a second?
Patricia Caldwell.
Seconded by Member Edwards.
Can we just scroll to the bottom?
I'm sorry, what?
Can we just scroll to the bottom now, therefore?
Now, therefore, all right, I'll read these out loud, fine, since they are the therefore. Oh, there's too many therefores. I'm not reading all that out loud. Sorry. So it's too late to do that. But everybody got this circulated. I read it Tuesday night. We went to 11. We ain't doing that tonight. So there's a motion and a second. The way unanimous consent works is if you do not support this resolution, you say so when I call for objections, at which point we vote by roll call. So unanimous consent has been requested and seconded. Does anyone object to passing this resolution by unanimous consent? If so, please speak now. Going once. Going twice. The resolution has passed by unanimous consent. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for reading this ahead of time. It was 11 pages, so we had to. The next item, I apologize, has not been circulated as much in advance, although it is much shorter. I am sharing it. This is regarding a proposed 165-page zoning text amendment by Mayor Adams under the City of Yes program, which would be their carbon neutrality plank. It is the first of 3 planks, the others being economic opportunity, which will come out this fall, and housing opportunity, which will come out next spring. But the goal of this is to make it easier for property owners to do things to reduce their carbon footprint and electrify stuff. That means making it easier to put solar panels on roofs, making it easier to add insulation to building walls. There's a whole list of 12 things that it proposes to do. So rooftop solar, solar canopies on parking lots, renewable energy, battery-based storage subject to FDNY approval, simplified procedure for onshore wind, exempt from zoning. That's actually up to 12 inches of exterior insulation. We were reading this relatively late at night, and it was 165 pages. Hold on, I'm not done yet, Annette. Heat pumps, decarbonized vehicles, waste disposal, composting. Also, allow for building owners to no longer count unused or inaccessible floor space eliminated from a building by a new development or a major enlargement. This is in order to make it easier to decommission mechanical rooms. However, that was put in there in the 1970s because property owners were boarding up buildings on their property and then trying to build new stuff and not count the old stuff as having been built. So this was put in there in the 70s. So, whereas we support all of the environmental goals, however, whereas we've heard anecdotal testimony that certain residential landlords claim to be unable to rent a vacant housing unit and, might say that it's unused or inaccessible. So and whereas, this definition exists for a reason, and also, I'll get to the other part. So we would be supporting this, but requesting that they keep those provisions in there to count unused space as floor area space, which counts towards the total amount of square footage, and to more narrowly tailor the language to achieve their desired effect in reapportioning mechanical rooms that are no longer relevant due to electrification. And the Department of City Planning has indicated that they are amenable to this suggestion from Board 9. So that's the first, therefore be it resolved condition. And then the other thing is their proposal would allow for mechanical bulkheads and other equipment up to 55 feet to be added to a roof above the height limit. That seems really high. Like, does anyone else know what 55 feet would be used for vertically for mechanical elements?
No.
Anybody, any of the architects? Okay, great. So we're also calling for that to be removed and left at the 40-foot height limit, which is still redonkulously high. They did send us some renderings of buildings that wanted 50-foot high mechanicals. It does not tell you what is in those mechanicals, though. So it doesn't, it's like this is 50-foot high mechanical on a roof of a building that's 150 feet high before the mechanical. I don't know what you need a 5-story mechanical room for. So we are asking them to remove that provision as well. Now, Member Robinson has requested unanimous consent.
Second.
Seconded by Miriam Rosti Ferrer. Does anyone oppose passing this resolution supporting the zoning text amendment with those caveats? If so, yes. They changed some language about bikes. It's still required. Bicycle storage is required on things like college campuses and other certain high density things. We want that to stay in there, even with the edits. It does stay in there, but we're just voicing our support. So that's not an objection, though. Any objections to passing this? Going once? Going twice? All right, that motion passes by unanimous consent. It is now on to the liquor licenses. Carolyn Thompson and Pat Watler Johnson of Uniform Services Transportation, would you brief us on items 3 through 6, which are the new liquor license applications?
The Gateway. Sorry, the Gateway at West on 31st Street, Riverside Park, that applied for a new license. It has been approved by the precinct.
Oh, and it's the Getaway.
Gateway, right?
Getaway,
Espiano.
Esquina del Salmón.
There you go. That has been passed by the precinct. Ingate.
Please speak louder.
Yeah, the Ingate, Laforia. That has been passed by the precinct.
That's formerly Florida Broadway, same location, now La Flor de Broadway. They're reopening, same name. I don't know if it's the same ownership.
No, it's not. And Little Street
No.
Lounge is amended. It's amended.
What's it amended to?
The old, Pat, you had it.
Oh gosh. I'll look for it. I'll look for it.
One of the owners is now leaving, and his partner is now taking over.
Got it. So it's an ownership change.
Right.
All right. Are there any questions for the committee on any of the items 3 through 6?
Yes.
Yes, Daria Hardiman.
Hi, I just need to add, it is not La Esquina del Salmon. It is La Esquina del Sazon Bar and Grill.
That's
Not,
It's not.
Okay, the current sign has a big fish on it and is currently called La Esquina del Salmon. I'm glad they're renaming it.
Right.
yeah, but like I said, I know the owner and she texted me that. I just
The
wanted to.
new owner, it should be noted, because if anyone knows the current location, it ain't that great.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, anyone else? Is Pat, you got notes? You got a
I
hand up.
do. Yeah. Well, other than the fact that yes, Daria reported the name, but for the record, it was La Esquina del Sazon Bar and Grill, and now it is Mi Gran Sueno Grill. I'm sorry, the mix is Mi Gran Sueno Grill and Lounge Restaurant Corporation,
And it's
that's where the
switching.
Alliance is.
Yep. Okay. So, anyone have any comments, debate, questions about these new liquor license applications? Member Alexander's request unanimous consent. Seconded by Monique Hardin Cordero. Is anyone opposed to passing items 3 through 6? These are recommendations to the State Liquor Authority to approve new liquor licenses or the amended one at the following locations. So if anyone objects to that.
I abstain, Patricia Caldwell.
Patricia Caldwell abstains.
Heather abstains.
Heather Jason abstains. If anyone objects, please state it now. Going once. Going twice. All right, we've recommended approval of 3 through 6. Sorry, what? All right.
Edwin abstains.
Edwin abstains. Okay. We've passed 3 through 6 by unanimous consent. Now on to the liquor license renewals. Pat and Carolyn, you again have the floor.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Carolyn. I'm looking for my paperwork.
It is Skinny River, aka Skinny's Cantina.
Right. And then the other one that was already passed by the precinct.
Riverbank Restaurant, aka Sofrito.
That was passed as well.
Clove Indian Restaurant.
That was passed as well.
And Shake Shack.
That was passed as well.
Does anyone have any objections to the renewal of the liquor license at any of these locations?
Patricia Caldwell abstain.
No. Okay, but I'm just asking if anyone has any comments, questions, debate. All right. Member Aristi Ferrer has called for unanimous consent. Seconded by Deirdre McIntosh Brown. If anyone opposes the passage of these renewal recommendations, please speak now. We are noting that Patricia Caldwell has abstained. Heather, are you abstaining?
Heather abstains.
All right. If you object, speak now. Going once, going twice. All right. They have recommendations to renew these liquor licenses have passed by unanimous consent. Please.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
If you are here in person, please fill out your pink voting sheets and sign and turn them in. Now, is there any old business? Walter Alexander.
Go home.
Senior Issues Committee has issued a draft of a reso objection to cuts to senior funding. We have not yet. We can send it, though. Does anyone object to sending a letter objecting to cutting senior funding? All right, I'm going to ask, you're going to move that by unanimous consent?
Yes, move it.
All right, moved by Monique, seconded by Walter Alexander. Anyone object to saying no to cutting funding for seniors?
Not at all.
All right, yeah, that passes by unanimous consent, Walter.
Please, yay, yay, yay.
Laquita Henry, is there any new business for you to report?
Signy just finished. Literally 2 seconds ago. The paper ballot threw me for a loop, guys.
What I want to say, right before you,
Can we get her mic?
the elections committee for its work. And tonight, Tina just really helping back with the paper ballots or converting them into electronic ballots. And I know that we have a terrific slate that's going to be announced in terms of the results by Signy. And I really want to thank Signy, who helped design the election buddy, which we used again. And it was very easy to use. So Signy, thank you so much for your hard work with us and scrambling. You have the floor.
All right.
Barry's
I would like
beating
to
the
share
table.
screen. Can someone help me share screen? I do not seem to have ability.
Signy, one moment. I'm going to give you sharing permission, and then you'll also
you.
need to speak louder, apparently. All right, you should be able to share now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm going to share screen with the final results in graph form. New chair, Honorable Victor Edwards.
Yay!
We have a new vice chair, the Honorable Barry Weinberg.
Yay!
We have a new second vice chair, Monique Cardin Cordero, with 38 and 2 abstentions.
Yes.
Who is it?
Treasurer, Deidre McIntosh Brown with 39.
Woo!
Honorable
Yes,
Evelyn
good morning.
30.
Yeah,
Secretary?
Signy, your Wi-Fi is a little choppy, FYI, but we got it. Deirdre's treasurer.
Okay.
Secretary.
Yay!
We have the numbers.
I'll send them the meeting. Great, Secretary Ted Koval, congratulations, 38. I send over the office, UFA, and I believe if you vote online, you can see the results yourself with a link that has.
If you voted online, you
So,
can see the results yourself.
Okay.
Carolyn Thompson is assistant treasurer.
Yes, sir.
Solomon Prophet is secretary. And the Honorable and Incomparable Ted Kovalev is our Assistant Secretary.
Go, Ted.
Thank you very much, Signy, for all of your help. Thank you to Laquita and the entire Elections Committee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Member Tina
Motion to
Lumpy has
adjourn.
moved to close. Walter Alexander seconds. All those in favor of adjourning say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Meeting
Thank you,
adjourned at
Barry.
9:26
Good night.
p.m. You don't got
Congratulations, everybody.
here.
Oh, man.
Thank you. Great summer.
Good night, former Chair Barry. Excellent job.
Yes, what Ken said. Good night, guys. Much love.
Don't forget to save the chat. There's a lot of info in there.
Yes, there is.
Thank you.
Hi, T. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Good job, T. We love you,
Hi,
T.
Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night, everyone. God bless you.
Good job, Carolyn.
Keep up the good work.
Congratulations.
Solomon, I'll say.
Thank you.
Matt, ready? Oh, we got it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all signing off.
Oh,
All right.
picture. Yes, we are.
We're signing off.
Come on.
think several of them. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Bye, Walter Alexander. Love you. Bye, Walter.
So let me remove this. It's too much. I was cold. Oh.
Thank you.
All right, that was
Thank
nice.
you.
All right, actually, now I'm gonna ask, can I get a picture with the three of you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go in front.
Well, I never remember to do pictures, and so you come on.
Don't even sweat that fuck shit.